Hello,
We got a lot of people
everybody.
in the chat.
Welcome to the Monday sound stream where we are discussing random things because it's still a slow news week. I don't I don't know where the toy news is, but I mean there is some, but like it's so scattered lately. Um
Quote unquote Comic Cons. I don't know if Comic Con's happening this year, but I know Comic
yeah.
Con season's happening coming up. So like maybe they're saving all the big
Everybody's like
reveals.
talking like they're going to SDCC. Apologies for the pimple on my lip here. I could not do anything about that, so you just have to deal with this blaring red spot on my lip. But anyways, yeah, welcome to the chat, everybody, but more specifically, Fighter Cows is here, and he quote tweeted to remind me that Free Comic Book Day happened, and that wasn't in my show notes because I didn't have room for the words Free Comic Book Day in the title. So, anyways, so we got Fighter Cows, we got Dark Claw, the Jerry and the Ryan, because I flip-flop names all the time with you guys like they are Super
I feel
Sentai
like there's
Mecha and
somebody out
Digimon.
there named Jerry Ryan.
That's 7 of 9's actress, Jerry Ryan.
Oh, there you go. Oh God, the Star Trek just keeps coming back to me.
Always.
Or there's one movie director out there with the street first memes.
Yeah. Anyways, if we have any audio glitches, let us know in the chat. We'll fix it. Because there's that. And yeah, I did put Faiz as a thing on my topic list, even though I haven't finished Faiz, so we'll talk about that. In fact, I think I forgot to actually load the link for the Faiz thing, so I'm going to do that right now. But yeah, welcome to... You know, we have news, unlike last week where I was like, there's no news besides depressing news, so I'm not going to cover news. This is just like, there actually is news, so we'll just casually go through it. Yeah, Spin Dash mentions couldn't get the Spider-Man 2 prequel comic because Marvel didn't actually label it as a free comic book day item and send it up to my shop. Yeah, my shop didn't even know about it. It wasn't on the free comic book day list. Apparently Sony sent them out. Not even Marvel. It was really, really weird. It's kind of like one year there was like a Hero Clicks for Green Lantern that you could get in place of a free comic, and I got that, and that wasn't distributed through the normal means.
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely very last minute because it didn't even have any of the free comic book day UI like stuff on it. The only thing that makes it a free comic book day is literally just $0 on the barcode.
Yeah.
It.
There was a Ranger Academy comic. It's like an issue 0 for the new series for Free Comic Book Day. That was pretty cool because it's different. It's not adapting a Power Ranger season, which is fun. So
I will say I did say I love for the Spider-Man 2 comic. They using that same image from the first initial teaser.
Oh my god, are they still using that one render of Miles and Peter?
Yes, because again, it's just it feels so weird because again, the game they keep saying the game comes out this year, but like
I saw a report that they're not like they're waiting till after Spider-Verse comes out to market the game, and I believe it at this point.
Yeah, because I think that's even though again it's kind of weird. Is the scenario where both a Spider-Man game and a Spider-Verse movies we're just missing a Venom movie to have that whole. If I had to,
we're getting Kraven this year too, so.
Wait, we are?
Yep.
I forgot.
Kraven's supposed to be out in like November, I think. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird sometimes when they throw in those extra free comic book day stuff.
But I feel like we're gonna get the marketing soon for the game because this comic book and I know the Marvel Legends are slowly coming out.
They're like already out, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna get a review soon. Soon, probably next month, since there's no E3 this year. All the companies will do their, Nintendo Directs or their Sony States of Play.
Yeah, there's gonna be like Summer Games Fest and all that. Like we'll be getting news soon, probably in like June or July. Probably July. I've noticed a lot of game companies are trying to shorten the marketing window for games because of how that's burned them in the past.
Yeah, because there's a whole list of games going like announced like 5 years ago
Mhm.
and still to come out yet. So I think I think that's what they want to do is like they don't want to
They don't
keep
want to
pestering
overhype.
people.
They don't want to overhype.
So first off in the chat, welcome. So
Before we
uh,
run down who's in the chat, I just got my Marvel Legends Wonder Man like right before I was setting things up. I'm just gonna casually open him because I've just been waiting for this figure since forever. So
you open him and he just falls to pieces. You're lucky.
I got a bunch of Black Series and Marvel Legends recently, and I didn't have any issues with them. So I'm gonna hope that continues here. Oh, there's the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure piece. Anyways, read the chat. Who we got in the chat?
So, welcome to the chat. Muteki T, Spin Dash, Celltrax, SC4 Jason, Kamen Jojo, Zero Films, Psycho O's, Dolly Person, and LPH, and Super Shag Boom.
Yay, welcome everybody. So far, I mean, Wonder Man's in one piece. Or
By the way,
he's in half.
talking about that Faiz thing that got announced.
Yeah, we'll talk
no
about the Faiz movie.
No leg, no pop-up leg.
No pop-up legs. I think that only happens in Vietnam. That's the other thing too. Marvel and Star Wars are still in China. I do want to kind of like analyze the situation with the factory switch in Power Rangers and to see how much impact that may have had on the quality of the line, or just their ability to reuse stuff, because there's like certain things they can't do. But yeah. Anyways, oh goody, his elbows are super tight. My favorite thing ever. As in, not really.
Is he pinlet? Is he insert pins?
Yeah, he's insert pins, and he has super tight elbows because that's just what happens with these things. That is I know I already have these arms on like Red Skull, but that is still just a weird elbow design. It's so very flat.
It looks like a DC Multiverse double joint elbow sometimes.
Kind of does, yeah. Speaking of Multiverse, I got Captain Cold and Heatwave over the weekend at Free Comic Book Day.
I got Captain Cold. I got the Captain Cold. I really like the Captain Cold figure. I still need to get the Heatwave.
They're fun. I need to get like I think I'm missing a couple Page Puncher comics, so I need to like get at least like one from the Aquaman wave and one from the Injustice wave, so I can be like, I got the comic books. I like the comics in those because they're new.
For the Aquaman wave, I actually do real. I mean, for your Aquaman wave, actually, I have the Aquaman Ocean Master. They're really good figures. I really like the Ocean Master.
Yeah, I kind of want the Black Manta.
I need to get the Black Manta and
because they did a poor job with Aqualad's hair, and it makes me sad.
I'll probably get more Titan members, because they did actually pick up the whole Titan waves thanks to the GameStop sale. That wave is really good. The Donna Troy figure is actually one of my favorite figures. Actually, really.
I wish I could buy a Beast Boy off Walmart, but it keeps telling me out of stock when for other regions
I did.
it is.
I did.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, if I can get Beast Boy, I might collect the Titans. If not, I might just skip them because I have the. I mean, the Donna Troy though looks so much better than every version we got.
No, I recommend if you're gonna get one, get the Donna Troy one. It's amazing. Well, because it's specifically like Donna Troy, not Wonder Girl.
Yep.
Like,
Wonder Man, good. Speaking of Wonder people, I like my Wonder Man. I'm happy.
I also got actually found an Impulse at Target. Luckily.
And good. That's a good figure.
Yeah, no, I really like the Team Body Mold, a lot. It's like a nice one. I also got the Jay Garrett. Also, he's great. Also.
Okay, Wonder Man's shades don't come off, which is cool because that way I don't lose them. Because I'm never gonna pose. I'm not gonna display him without the shades.
So which iconic. Which era Wonder Man is this? West Coast era?
This is like 80s era. So yeah, it's West Coast Avengers. I love West Coast Avengers. If anyone's wondering, yeah, and this is funny because it's like this is technically a superhero suit because of how many times Simon just walked off a movie set and then got like an Avengers alert. So this is just like casual gear that just became a super suit, kind of like who's another hero that does that? Where it's just like they're just wearing their normal gear.
Does Constantine count?
I don't count Constantine as a superhero. Kind of like Hawkeye sometimes, where he's just wearing a t-shirt. That's just how this goes. Yeah, I think for the moment he's going to go into the main Avengers shelf because we still don't have enough West Coast specific stuff to make their own shelf. Like I'm still waiting for another we have a classic Moon Knight, like a first early Moon Knight, and then we have like a modern one, but we need one that's in between where he's got all the crazy gold accents, and then I want that one for my West Coast.
Because the Hawkeye with the jet skis coming out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that it's actually on the topics because we got pictures of that.
Did the Moon Knight release did the Moon Knight release of the modern one, did that came out already or not yet? Because I've been like I think
that's still pending.
Yeah, because
I don't remember.
I want to get that. That's the one I want to get, but like I haven't heard any news of it's out or not.
Muteki T, that's a good point. Muteki T said Star-Lord is casual. Yeah, Star-Lord is this is the equivalent of most Star-Lords. Like when he doesn't have like a uniform, he's just wearing like a jacket. This is essentially it's because it's super 80s. So I don't want Wonder Man in the MCU wearing the safari jacket. That works for a very specific point in time. Like that has to only work for a certain era.
In terms of like superhero outfits, like like a pet peeve of mine, I feel like characters that should not have like a very high tech costume is I feel like it's like Kamala Khan. I never like when Kamala has a very professional looking superhero outfit. Like no,
same thing with Spider-Man. Like I think Peter's suit looks too good at times.
I like that's why I like the being Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man 1, you could tell the suit was made out of a tracksuit, and then in the sequel, you can tell like Gwen like sewed that together for Peter. That's why he looks a more professional looking suit.
Mm-hmm. So, on that note, let's talk about videos on the channel that have nothing to do with super suits because it's all been Ultraman lately. Super Shattuck's Boom. I did see the Arctic Bat. We'll talk about it when it gets officially revealed, so we can have more than just the one box picture.
You're talking about G.I. Joe. You're talking about that weird new Page Punchers wave.
Oh, the Barbarian wave. That also is toy news, but I'm like, it's not enough for a topic. Anyways.
What I want to get is the Mr. Freeze, because I like the dome look of it.
I was thinking of getting the back row so I can get the comic, because I think she looks cool. But anyways, comics, videos. What are we doing? Videos.
Ultraman!
Yeah. We're 3 videos deep into my 5 video run on Ultraman stuff lately. I made a tweet about that where I was like, I like to provide a variety of content to my channel. Oops, scheduled 5 Ultraman videos in a row.
Oops, all Ultraman.
Yeah, so Mezco Ultraman we had from last week, but for last week's videos particularly, we had the Dark Ring and Fusion Card Special Set 2 and the card holder. There are Tiga, Dyna, and Gaia Nendoroids according to the chat, and someone send me a link.
Yeah, because
that'll be a news topic if I can see pictures. I want to see them. Okay, but anyways, these 2 videos, like Muteki T says, they are long, but I will tell you everything. These are like essentially the reviews are like the guided tours on how to use these things. They are a lot of sound demo, but they are. I try to guide you through like how it works and how it functions. As for what's next is essentially just because I'm not exactly sure if we're getting a 3rd card set, even though we possibly could. There are enough options. I just don't know how much is actually in these things. So I don't know if we're getting a 3rd card set, and I don't want to bank on us getting a 3rd card set. So this week's videos are going to be 2 freaking long videos, but I'm doing every single fusion card in the Orb Ring and then in the Dark Ring. So it's 2 videos, because currently I'm still working on them. It's a bit of a headache, because of all the images and text and all that. But essentially, I got through the Ultraman part of the Orb Ring video, and it's 1 hour and 3 minutes long. And I still got to put the kaiju into it. So they're probably going to be like 90 minutes a pop. The Dark Ring one is going to be longer because for some reason, where the Orb Ring, you scan a card and it'll go, Ultraman, Gaia. The Dark Ring will say, Ultraman, Gaia, V2, Schwa. So it just takes forever to get the actual sounds to go through on the Dark Ring. So the Dark Ring video is going to be longer just because the sounds are longer. And Psycho O's mentioned I didn't use the new Tiki card in the Dark Ring. Yeah, because I left it for that Dark Ring video. I didn't want to like use too many cards because I need to have a hook for people to be like, oh, what does this card, what does the Tiga special card sound like in the Dark Ring? Go check out that video that has all the cards. And I'll put a bunch of chapter markers also on those videos. So if you want to see just a specific segment, like I'll have it broken down like Showa Ultra, TGG, Orb Fusions, like that kind of thing. So if you want to just jump to a certain chapter, it'll be doable.
All right. So looking around, I cannot find the Nendoroid Tiga Dynagaya. I don't know where that came from. Like I'm like looking, I'm like searching it up. I can't find anything.
So if anyone in the chat wants to DM me on Twitter or Instagram, do so, and I will pull it up.
Because all I can find is the anime ones and Shin Ultraman, but I don't see any Tiga Dynagaya Nendoroids.
All right. Yeah. So if you
the only new Nendoroid in that sphere is a spoiler for Gridman Universe. It was a spoiler for Gridman Universe. Woo. So yeah, I can't find it.
Could it be Bandai Mini? Could it be Mini Arts?
It could be. I'll go check Ultraman.
Okay, Ryan's just on the go look for Tiga Dynagaya police at the moment.
Nope. I'm looking at all the official Ultraman stuff, and I don't see anything. So I don't know where that came from.
All right. Well, if anyone wants to send it to me in the next hour and 40 minutes, I'll show it on the stream. Zero Films says, my friend saw a trailer for Shin Kamen Rider when they saw Guardians 3. I did the same thing. I was walking into the theater and Shin Kamen Rider was like playing before the previews, and I was like, "Oh."
I'm gonna say, I'm assuming one of this before the. It was before the.
Yeah, it was before normal previews. It was like a 20-second Fathom promo, which is common. I see that a lot, but it was kind of cool to see Shin Kamen Rider.
I mean, that's a big topic right now. Do you love how like Team Rider or Toei or anybody?
Okay, so I just want to I want to talk about Team Rider because I've you know what.
It's been a big hot subject in the fandom right now.
All right, so big subject in the fandom. I probably should have put it. I just didn't want to put it in the title because I don't want people like harassing them. Eric Craig, I have not seen Ultraman Neo, so I can't say for sure. But it's only 12 episodes, so what can you lose?
No. I just think of Ultraman and Yu-Gi-Oh when I hear it.
Yeah, Neo's. Just like every time someone's like, "Oh, have you seen X?" when they're talking about Tokusatsu, and I'm like, "Which one?"
Was there
Kamen Rider? Which one are you talking about?
Wasn't there like actual Toku series, like a Tokusatsu, actually just called X? Also?
Yeah, there was.
It's an anime too.
So, essentially, the thing I do want to say is that, so I've seen a lot of talk of Team Rider lately. Which, first of all, I feel vindicated because I have been saying since the beginning, I don't really know what Team Rider's intentions are because they keep saying one thing and not really following up with it. It's kind of like when I said Kamen Rider Doubles or Futo PI had poor marketing because it didn't advertise the Kamen Rider Double connection with it. And a lot of people lately were like, wow, they really poorly marketed Futo PI. And I'm like, yeah, I tried to tell everyone and I got attacked on Twitter.
Futo PI,
I got dogpiled on Twitter for saying they should put the Kamen Rider name on it. And I'm like, you know what? It's bad marketing in Japan too that Japan didn't do it, you know?
It's just a shame Futo PI was so poorly marketed because I like the series, and I just think I don't think they even know how to market it to itself because
how do you market an anime sequel to a live action show that aired in 2009?
It's not like Gridman where you can have multiple groups. You have your mecha folks. You got the people just like the anime waifus with waifus. You know, like they didn't even do that. Like they didn't even do that with Tokime or Akko or anything that for like they didn't do that. Like they just didn't try with Futo PI's marketing. It was just, hey, Dink is out. Go watch. Like they didn't even try to advertise at the detective show because that's what it is.
They didn't advertise anything for it. They were just like, it exists. That's not how you market things. But back on the subject at hand, Team Rider came under some fire because the only tweet they've made related to Shin Kamen Rider was not related to the movie tickets being on sale or the Fathom event, but that they were tweeting out one of the SH figure arts, which is a spoiler for the movie, which is why we haven't talked about it on these streams, because I try to avoid that. And people like jumped on them and were like, why? You're not going to tell us about the marketing of the movie. You're just going to tell us about the figure art. And so here's the thing I want to like sort of clear up, because I've been harsh on Team Rider, fairly. With any of these companies doing things, I do try to critique everything, right? But in terms of like Team Rider, there's things that I think people don't quite understand because it's never been stated out loud. And I don't want to give all the details of stuff that I want to, because I have contacts within the industry that I don't want to say who it is or what it is. I'm just going to give some vague details to kind of like clear stuff up. I don't want to tweet it either because every time I tweet about Kamen Rider, when it like clashes with something the fandom thinks, it just goes really bad.
You get bulldozed down.
Yeah, I don't really want to go through that. So the thing is that here's the thing. Team Rider Team Rider was originally created to be marketing for toys. And they said that they wanted to be part of expanding Kamen Rider into the West. But they really weren't, because all of the people that were working there were very much low-level entry-grade Rider fans. Like, essentially, most of them didn't know most of the shows. They just kind of knew of it, thought it was cool, and they were marketing, and they're pushing for the toys to get released, because all of them were Bluefin employees. And then Bluefin got absorbed into Bandai America and Bandai Namco Collectibles America, as it is now. And so most of them are not there anymore of that initial lineup. The guy that was in charge of it's no longer there. They pretty much are just using Team Rider as a social media handle for their Kamen Rider toys, like the way that there is a Bandai Play for like their game-based toys, or there's like the Anime Heroes account or the Digimon account. Like, essentially, Team Rider is not this thing where it's like a group of people trying to get Kamen Rider distributed. They are just there to sell Bandai toys because that's what they do as Bandai employees. And so they're just there to push toys. And that is all their job actually is. They just played it up like it was something bigger. And now that there's less of them at the company, there isn't going to be a big push for things. So the thing was, everyone was jumping on them for not promoting Shin Kamen Rider. Rightfully so, because, Team Rider put themselves out there as like this one-stop shop for Rider news. But that's the thing, is that they're not Ultraman Connection. They're not Starlight Runner. They're not there to promote Rider. They're just there to promote the toys for Rider. That's why they never tweet about the Blu-rays. That's why they never tweet about anything else. They had some weird connection to Shout Factory that I can't quite get an answer on why they were promoting Shout Factory stuff and nobody else's. But they're not concerned with the shows. They're only concerned with the toys. I believe that has been the case since day one, because when I was DMing them back and forth and they were looking for feedback, I asked them, how do you plan to market the toys without a show? And they never replied to me, because I don't think they ever plan to. They just are here to sell the toys to an existing fan base. And in the global Rider scheme, Toei's priority with their distribution and licensing for shows is Asia's first, then Latin America, then North America. And that's the case with everything. And with Toku being this little small sliver of the overall Toei empire, it's amazing that we get anything, honestly.
The only exceptions is like the ones that already have established fan base in here, like Dragon Ball and Digimon.
Yeah, but those are the anime franchises. In terms of the Tokusatsu, Toei is not that concerned with it. So the thing is that we look at like, oh wow, Ultraman's doing a simuldub with Blazar, and they're doing this, and they're putting this show out here and making it all accessible. Yeah, because that's their thing. They actually want to do it. Toei is not that interested in distributing their Tokusatsu widely. They want somebody else to do it. They're not going to handle it themselves. And they flat out said it in a financial report. It's North America is third on the totem pole for Toei's priorities at this point. And the thing is that Team Rider is just there to market toys, and they pretty much just have to get permission to say anything because they work for Bandai. I wish they were more vocal about actual toys they're selling. The whole Black Sun belt thing, apparently there was just never a plan to like bring it over. I think the thing I did hear was that Bandai like sort of produced less of the Black Sun driver than they do their normal CSMs, and they kept all the stock for Japan and like didn't distribute it anywhere else. So the thing is that when it comes down to it, Team Rider isn't going to push Rider in the West. Once again, it's the fandom to do that, but we're not required to do any of that. It's up to these companies, and at this point, it's just at this point, if you're looking at Team Rider for anything about the shows, the movies, or anything like that, don't bother. If it's toy related, like Muteki T says, ask them if the Faiz stuff is coming on the live stream. That's a great thing because that is their whole thing. It's, ask them about toy stuff, but don't bother them with the show stuff because there's no point. They're not involved.
I just think it's weird that Team Rider is so disconnected. Compared to, like, if you take with specific Bandai, I just feel like it's weird that Team Rider is so disconnected to the show release because if you look at the Digimon side, it feels like the Digimon side is the pro opposite. Like, because we got stuff like recently. I've been seeing a lot of the UK content creating like back. Like,
Bandai Shop UK is a whole different. That is the best division of Bandai right now in terms of actually distributing stuff.
That's separate, but still, that's they're sending out the Digimon creators in the UK, and there's stuff like, I remember like the Digimon, whenever the Digimon card game Twitter, they'll tweet out like whenever that Star Digimon year 2020 or Ghost Game, they'll tweet out like Digimon like feature star blank, and they'll do that, and
and not to mention that Ghost Game made specific choices like using Sistermon CL. So that way it would be more marketable internationally. Digimon is even less than Dragon Ball because Toei and Bandai are handling Digimon directly where Dragon Ball gets like shoved off to Crunchymation. I think that Bandai and Toei are making a consistent effort to go, let's make Digimon a global brand.
Yeah, like even though with Digimon Adventure 2020 dub having a messy release, they still like advertise like they guys, the dub's here, go watch it. Like even though it's
only on the Microsoft store and that's the dumbest thing.
But
they're still marketing it. They're still trying. Yeah. Also, so, Psycho O's. Yes. He mentioned how many times I asked him about the Ultra Ring delay. I said you can ask him about stuff, but I didn't say expect an answer. I'm just saying, just focus on toy stuff if you're gonna ask him something.
Yeah, I just find it weird that like Team Riders like this compared to the Digimon side, and I don't know because there's like a disconnect where Toei and Bandai that's like internal where
because essentially it's Asia, Latin America, North America, but it goes anime, Tokusatsu's way down here. Like Tokusatsu's just not a priority, and Rider's their biggest Toku franchise. So anything we're getting, it's amazing we're getting anything, honestly, with how low of a priority it is at that company.
Meanwhile, we still pray to the gods that we actually get Ultraman stuff here in America.
I was just gonna say, and then you look at Super Raya.
Yep, and it's because it's their one and only thing, right?
Yep.
They are just so engaged, and they're working on it. Collector K9, all you've missed so far is I've been talking about Team Rider and just what they've been doing lately, and then I went over some video stuff, but you can see that when the archive comes up.
That makes me really wonder what's stopping the Ultraman stuff coming here officially to the US. Is there some weird
with the Bandai toy side?
Yeah.
It's not something I know an official answer on or an unofficial answer on. There's speculation that Subaraya is trying to get a better contract with Bandai, where Bandai's taking less of the money from the toy, because the problem is that apparently Bandai sucked up all the profit from Ultraman during Decker, even though it had more than ever. Bandai took all the money instead of Subaraya, and Subaraya might be trying to make sure that if Bandai's making more money globally with Ultraman toys, that Subaraya is getting a better cut of it, and not be losing out to Bandai so much. That would be kind of the thing I would imagine.
I feel because I think it feels like they can't escape Bandai because Bandai does kind of fund the shows, but
Bandai's letting them get away with a lot of stuff in Blazar that they wouldn't normally. So,
but it's kind of unfortunate because I think with that kind of chokehold Bandai has on them, they can't say give the Ultraman license to a different toy company in America. McFarlane will give you the Ultraman license specifically just for America. I don't think they can do that. For example, because Bandai has a but
yet we can still get stuff like the Mezco Ultraman. We got
I think because
those stuff. Those are just there's very specific licensing to it. Yeah,
I think it's one of those it's a comic shop. It's a one-off thing, and also it's technically a territory that Bandai doesn't do. Bandai doesn't do.
But Migo and Mezco don't go to Asia. So.
For example, reason why we got the Ultraman Pops Pro Chaya, the Post of Chaya stuff, is because Bandai does not do Funko Pop collectibles, so they let Super I give them the license, for example.
Yeah, like they wouldn't
That's up.
allow like Ultraman Marvel Legends to exist because that would compete with Figuarts in their mind.
Yeah, it's that whole
Or in the or with the Ultra action figures. But I think we'll have to see what happens with Ultraman, but to kind of book in the Team Writer thing, ask them about toy stuff. Don't expect them to promote the show stuff because their job is promoting the toy stuff.
Oh, welcome to Chess with the Code. It does mention he does ring before. How was your May the 4th and Revenge the 5th? By the way,
We'll talk about my May the 4th because that was expensive. May the 4th was expensive for me. We'll have to discuss that, but I think that's a good time to go from a company that doesn't want to license stuff to here we go. Discotek's got new stuff. I just wanted to highlight just the July releases. I just want to do this more consistently, is like talk about Discotek. I have no idea what Animal Treasure Island is beyond Treasure Island with animals, but it's only $17.47. So
was that a 70s one?
I think so. It looks kind of 70s. Have you heard of it, Jerry?
Actually, yeah, I know there's a Treasure Island anime, and
this one's got
I know
animals.
there's also Gulliver's Tales as well.
Yeah, because I know
there's
they
a
did
lot in the 70s. There's a lot of storybook anime for some reason.
Can you put the link to the page in the Discord chat so we can me and Cass can skim
Yeah,
through
I'll
it
just
also?
I'll drop you guys the new release
so we can see if there's anything we can recognize that you don't.
Yep. Loading. There it is. I have it set to the same settings that I do for the stream display. But yeah, no, that's cool. Let's see. There is Terrifying Girls High School Animal Classmates. I don't even know if I can show that, but whatever.
This looks like a J something. Adult film.
Adult film for sure. Yeah. Maybe I didn't have that much to talk about in the end. Urusei Yatsura TV series part 2.
So this is the second part of the original anime, right? Did they confirm this will have the whole UK dub? These sets. Do they have the whole UK dub?
I think they got whatever of the dub that they could. Right, Cass?
Yeah, I'm just surprised we're finally getting to. It's always just been the movies over here.
Yeah, apparently, like the show, they had to do a ton of work on.
I'm not surprised since the new anime came out, so they're releasing to tie in with that.
Yeah. Eric Craig, I have a Discord, but it'll be more accessible later this summer when I set up.
Yeah, we have plans.
We got Discord plans. I do have a Twitch account, but I never post there. Fighter Cows is on Twitch though at twitch.tv/FighterCows. That's
And speaking of, this stream is sponsored by my Discord until Soundout gets his own.
Yes. Hey, yeah, if you want to join a Discord server, we have the Geek Fighters on Discord. So
in the meantime, yeah.
Also, Splash Ass Smith and Collector K clarified they don't have the rights to use the old dub.
Okay.
As our DVDs or Blu-rays.
That makes sense.
Here's one. I figured it'd be sub only.
Here's one I'm super excited about is Iria Zayram the animation.
Yes.
Really excited for this one. I love Zayram, as many may know, because every time a Zayram disc comes up in a video, I just gush about Zayram for like 5 minutes. There'll be more gushing about this, but this is incredible because not only is this the 6-episode OVA prequel to the Zayram duology of films, but it's been rescanned from the original 35mm film negative, which they found in the same vault they found the Project A-ko films. That vault is a treasure trove. They've synced the dub. They've cleaned up the video. I think they've even tweaked the subtitles from their previous DVD release. It's got all the bonus features. And this also means the entire Zayram franchise has official North American Blu-rays, and you could buy the entire franchise for like less than $50. Which is just amazing.
Although the movies are not Discotek, right?
The movies are not Discotek. They're Media Blasters. But yeah, let's go look right now.
Blu-ray.
Yeah, they're $15 a piece. So you could spend $15.97 if you want the entire Zayram franchise right now. In terms of the Muteki TS, what was in that vault? The A-ko films, Angel Cop, Cyber City 0800808, Fatal Fury the movie. Like there's a bunch. Like they started re-releasing stuff they already did because they have better transfers now. And Eric Craig, I don't have any thoughts on Ultraman Gaia because I haven't seen it yet, even though I've owned the DVD for like 2 years. I'll get to it eventually. Yeah, that vault has a lot of original Japanese film prints, which is just incredible to see. It's really amazing. And then lastly, to round it out, is Digimon Adventure in Japanese, which is they did a ton of work on the English dub. They did less work on the Japanese because the Japanese was in better quality overall. It's not the same exact transfer. They did use the same technology on it. And they said that the Japanese version looks even better than the English dub. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I ordered this because I'm just like I'm buying both.
I imagine the paying for the English dub was making all the US
the US specific edits, yes.
Clean. Like all the US effects and everything clean and such.
Since that's the last July release, I'm gonna click over. They had a bunch of tweets. What was the right stuff price on the Digimon? Do you guys have the page up still?
Digimon, I can get the price for the original Adventure set.
Yeah, the Japanese set.
The Japanese set. Oh, for the Japanese set specifically.
Yeah.
$48 on $48.97.
$48.97, which is really good for a 54 episode show. Anyways, yeah.
How much was the and? Okay, so the dub is actually more expensive. It's at $60 for
right because Right Stuff always has discounts on pre-orders and then raises it back up and then puts them on sale later. So, anyways, yeah, just looking at the screenshots they put up, it's just like it's beautiful. Like, how did they make it look like it was animated last week? It's just incredible. Having the dub set, I can't wait for the Japanese set to come out.
I do hope they let Discotek do the 2020. If let them do 2020 really. I'm curious if I did
real quick before I don't want to leave it up too long. This is how they did the Digimon Analyzer screens, because if they tried to put the text lined up with all the text on the side, it broke their subtitle limit for a disc. So they just like listed them across the top. That is incredible.
That's smart. Yeah, that's probably the smart thing to do, honestly.
And they like subtitled the title cards in the same font and stuff. Like it, it's the works. To add to that, the dub release had Tai, Izzy, Sora, and TK. The Japanese release has Matt, Mimi, Joe, and Kari. So if you want all 8 disc arts with all 8 kids and their Digimon, you had to get both sets. But
will this have any? Did they confirm this will have any bonus features like any?
Yes,
like Japanese
it will have the ending cards, the images they'd use at the end of the broadcast versions of the episodes. It's going to have promos, the art galleries from the DVD set, or from the dub set, I mean, and I think that's about it. Oh, and they have that's right, clean openings, clean endings, next episode previews, and promos like about winning contests where you could get like the pendulum and 2 CDs.
Did the dub set have any toy commercials on it or no?
No toy commercials in the dub set, but they did have some Fox Kids promos on there.
It's probably one of those they couldn't get the rights to them. Oh, that's always my favorite thing with like some like DVD releases, because I remember the Transformers ones always come with the toy commercials.
Yeah, it all depends on rights. The Gal Gaigar Blu-ray comes with in full high definition the toy commercials. It's really cool.
Speaking of Digimon and Disco, I'm curious if say a toy lets them release a Adventure 2020 series. I'm curious. I'm curious how they're gonna do it, because the 2020 dub does change. It's like a pure dub. Like besides, of course,
there's no visual edits. There's no edits.
No, there are. There is.
There are visual edits,
but it's just text. It is just like text. It is simply the logo is in, like when the logo appears, it'll be in the English logo, and they have Digimon English like the Digimon English name appear on the like when they appear, like Greymon or like
Could that be done with branching video?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Could that be done with branching video, like the Star Trek original series Blu-rays having the original effects and the remastered effects
I
no
hope
switching
that
a
that's the
button.
case because that from what I've seen of the 2020 dub and
There's no
totally
reason
not
to do
illegal
2
means
sets for 2020, right? Like they
because
should do it
it's
as
a
one.
pure dub. It's a besides the curse having the dub is and memes and such.
Yeah.
It's a pure dub. There's no visual edits or anything. The only thing changed is having the literal like English text for like ending credits and
And they
the
could do
titles and
they could do it like they did Funimation when they did Dragon Ball Super, when they broadcast it, when it was broadcast on Toonami, they changed the logo to the English logo, but when they put out the Blu-ray, it was the Japanese logo. So
so I'm hoping
be the
it's just a
case.
simple video switch instead of a whole set per se because
Yeah.
you don't need one. For
It's not like
2020.
Lupin the Third Part 4 where it was like edited completely different.
Yeah, no, it's literally the same edit, just they added little
Yeah.
like cards. That's it.
But yeah, now that they got the Japanese set of Adventure out, I'm hoping 02's on the way. I don't know about the movies because that's a big whole
Right.
extra thing.
At least the English rights. It's
Yeah,
the more
and
difficult
even the
one.
Japanese rights is a separate license.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do, but I'm excited because it does seem like they're in it for the long haul.
If you own a copy of the original Digimon the movie DVD, keep it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you own the original Digimon the movie on any format, keep it because it's hard to get. I think it's time to open your eyes for the 20th anniversary of Kamen Rider Faiz.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, so for those that may not be aware, because I do like to recap this, Toei has announced that there will be a new Kamen Rider Faiz film releasing in 2024 called Kamen Rider Faiz Paradise Reignited, which is a really cool callback to the actual summer movie for Kamen Rider Faiz being Paradise Lost, because there was a book called Paradise Lost and Paradise Reignited. So it's like
But
going in
it's a
with
sequel
that
to the
theme.
series.
But
it's
yes,
a sequel to the series.
it is a sequel to the series. It's funny because the title's great, but like Paradise Lost was an alternate universe Faiz story. Paradise Reignited is confirmed to be taking place 20 years after the series. Now, when it comes to doing these writer return movies, I think, and there is a promo video, which of course I'm not playing because not fighting
Totally.
YouTube. The thing is that what's kind of cool about this is that I feel like this actually feels like a proper sequel. I did like the O's 10th movie, but it did sort of feel like nothing changed that much with those characters in 10 years. This is significantly different. They did talk about how technology has advanced in 20 years, and with the idea of Faiz being about technology and humanity's use of technology, now we've evolved from flip phones to smartphones, which is why he's got a new belt, and that new belt has a flat screen smartphone in it instead.
I do love the new look of Faiz in this.
Yeah, before we get to
Okay.
that, I do want to say they did confirm that I think all the primary cast is back, including Kaiza, who is supposed to be dead. But then again, Takumi was erased from the timeline in Kamen Rider Yongo, so we're just gonna roll with it, right?
I hope
But that's
it's
what I'm
Kaiza's-
curious about, because Spin Dash mentions this as well. Will it bring forward Faiz's whole arc between the crossover movies? Because that was a lot of stuff for him.
I want Kaiza to be this like cuckoo cuckoo ghost for Takumi going like, I'm not crazy, you're crazy.
Oh, he could be the Joker in Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a 8-year-old game. I think that Psycho's Takumi, Mari, Kusaka, and Kaido are all confirmed. I think that this suit design is great. I think it's really striking.
It looks very SIC.
Very SIC, yeah. It looks like an actual power-up base form, kind of like the Kamen Rider 1 movie that came out during Ghost, where he got like a new base form.
You mean Buff Ichigo?
Buff Ichigo, yeah. And I mean, Mutaki T brings a good point. They should bring Kamen Rider X to help him out. If not, at least mention X, because I felt like that was such a good turning point in Takumi's story, was meeting X. And I am talking because the only part of Takumi's story I've seen is his post-show appearances. I have never finished Faiz, but this movie looks so cool, I want to finish Faiz, even though I didn't like my experience with Faiz.
Heisei vs. Showa to me is a very bad movie, but that's like the one redeeming part of that movie.
Heisei vs. Showa is a bad movie, but every time it's a Faiz and X scene, it's the best Rider movie I've ever seen. It's so weird. It's like, if you could just isolate the X and Faiz stuff, that is like one of the best Rider movies.
We
ever.
need more Showa writers mentoring Heisei writers. I mean, never. I think that's like the only time we got that, which frustrates me.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, like, that movie is fun, but like, Ichigo is completely written out of character.
And we had
it's a big old mess like usual.
We had to ignore there's two RXs, two blacks for some reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with it, but like the Faiz and X stuff was so good, and I hope they don't just throw that away. And because the thing is that that led into Superhero Tyson GP, which led into Kamen Rider 4, where Faiz got erased in the timeline, but then he just pops up in GO like nothing's wrong.
Didn't he pop up during the Forze arc, right?
Yeah, he did, because they were like, "Oh no, we didn't get any Forze actors back. Quick, make it a Faiz arc, because these two guys are still hanging around the studio." Yeah, like there's a lot of great moments. Like everything in Kamen Rider Tyson that was about the writers interacting with each other was great. Like that was the best stuff. It's just the conflict was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Ichigo, the reason why we're fighting is because Heisei writers can't move on from people dying, and I'm like, dude, what?
That doesn't even make sense for the show era.
Have you ever seen your show? I mean, V3 is standing right next to you, and he ran up to you guys and said, "They murdered my family, turned me into a cyborg, I'm fighting Destron." Like, if anybody's had trouble letting go of people, it's show writers did it first. And also, it's funny, too, because they're like, "Oh, you guys hang on to the dead too much." Rider Man was standing 2 feet from you, and he blew up like 3 times.
You know what I want? This film, I want like a super upgraded Auto Virgin. Like he's a full-on like mecha transformer.
That would be cool. And I like the theory that the chest is a weapon.
Because it does looks like the Faiz blaster like center bit.
No, and this looks great. And to answer Kamen Jojo's question, I haven't finished Faiz because I get 8 episodes in, and then I'm bored with all the melodrama, and then I quit it by just forgetting to watch it. It happens every time. I have not been able to get past episode 8.
For me, Faiz for me is like I couldn't finish it for me because besides talking about it, everyone was mean. Everyone was too mean.
That's the thing. I don't like most of the characters too. Yeah, that's a
Talking is the only one I like. He's the only likable character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't mind watching a show where the main character is not good, like the main character are good persons, like Sunny Philadelphia, but like that's a comedy and I can stomach.
Yeah.
But like having an actual serious melodrama where I was supposed to like care for these characters and they're not likable, then like
because they're like, you should feel bad for Kiba because of all the people mistreating him, and I'm like, yeah, they mistreated him because he was a shitty person.
Kaiza is a bad person. He is legitimately a bad person. I don't like. I get it's a meme. People like I get Kaiser as a meme, but like there's so much I can stomach of how much of a jerk he is that like I don't enjoy it for the meme.
But I gotta say, this new movie looks so good that I'm gonna finish Faiz in the next year. Like it's gonna happen. This gave me motivation because this looks really cool, and I like I want to see this disparity between 2002 or 2003 Faiz and 2023 Faiz, like that, because they're talking about that as a central theme of like what changed in the last 20 years, and I really want to see that. I really want to see that.
This movie is your equivalent for me of me trying to get through Trigger to get to Decker.
Yeah, I mean, Trigger's a better show. And I'm only saying that because Trigger's only 25 episodes. If you don't like a show, it better be shorter. But yeah, so I'm going to look forward to watching Faiz because I think this movie sparked my interest more than anything else has. Even beyond the fact that Faiz is one of 4 writer shows I haven't seen, this movie might propel me to finish Faiz and then get to Kabuto and then get to Blade and Ghost. In that order, because that's the correct order according to the Fighter Cows roster of Kamen Rider history. But yeah, I mean, I think this looks cool. It's just, I don't know what else we got beyond that, because it was a 16-second trailer and a poster art.
I just find funny that we're getting this in Other Rangers. Like, we're getting the 10-3 superhero time back.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even start Kabuto. I've always saved Kabuto. I was like, I'll probably enjoy this. I should watch this one last.
Kabuto, Blade. For me, my brain likes to. That's why I came up with the messed up weird history I have as a
Yeah.
joke in the first place. Because that era of writers, Faiz, Kabuto, Blade, Hibiki, my brain always just deletes them from my memory.
Hmm.
I don't want to say they're jobbers, but my brain wants to treat them like they are.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because it's like I've jumped around writers so much. I watched all the show in order. But with Heisei, it's like Faiz, Blade, Kabuto, Ghost. That's it. I will see
Oh, by
every
the way,
writer
that
show.
Faiz redesign is sick though.
It is, and that's why I want to watch Faiz now. And I don't want a Faiz driver. I want that driver, but don't cost $550 like the Black Sun belt.
We'll have a gun mode. I'm curious how it will still have a gun mode.
It should insert itself into a gun like the Laser Razor Riser. Also adding to this, I didn't pull up the image for it, but CSM fans, if you've been collecting the Faiz stuff, they're making Saiga, Orga, Faiz Blaster, Faiz Edge, and the Ryo Trooper belt, I think. So there's like 5 new CSM items coming. Yeah, I mean, this is some craziness. Everybody's mentioning Oja, and I'm like, yeah, Oja was a serial killer before he was a Kamen Rider.
But he was never treated as a main character. He was always a villain.
Yep, always a villain. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and this looks cool. I don't know. We have anything else on Project Faiz?
The dirt. I just like the posters. Actually, like a poster and not just like suits just floating about.
Oh my god, for real! It actually looks like it's whoever designed this suit, whoever designed that poster, actual graphic designer. You can tell.
Yep, they got cinematic flair going on with them. Yeah, I was trying to see.
You know me, I always like poking holes in graphic design. That's what they taught me to do. I kid you not.
Mm.
They taught me like, hey, be a snob when it comes to seeing others' designs. I'm like, why? I don't know, but that's what we teach you.
You know what? A lot of like Toei posters, and I'm just looking like all Sony's posters for Spider-Man films.
It's true. It's really true though.
Seiki, have you seen that new? There's a new 4DX Across the Spider poster, but it is used stock images from Insomniac Spider-Man.
That's crazy. So here it is. Faiz Edge, Faiz Blaster, or sorry, Faiz Braster. Faiz Braster.
Braster.
Yeah, Braster.
Saiga Driver, Orga Driver, Smart Buckle. I'm assuming Smart Buckle is the Riot Trooper thing. And they showed the Saiga Driver. But yeah, they're doing all kinds of Faiz. They're like, let's finish the Faiz set, and I'm like, cool. Where's my Agito weapons?
Remember the April Fools of a complete selection auto Vajin they did?
I'm scared that they actually would do that. Mass Radiant says, I know you have moved on from Digimon Adventure Japanese version, but is it worth double dipping? I'd say yes, if you're a big fan of the show. I have watched both versions. I don't think, even though the Saban dub cut around some stuff and cut some scenes here and there, it's honestly a pretty faithful dub. Like, they added more jokes, which was probably good because there wasn't much humor. Like, a lot of the dialogue is really flat in the Japanese version. But they're about the same to me, honestly.
I will always defend the original Saban dubs of Digimon because they only really added jokes and take out scenes that are US TV standards and not like it's not like for kids for Yu-Gi-Oh where they alter a lot of character stuff. Like look at Jack or Kaiba, for example.
They don't alter characters that much. They don't alter storylines. Like they kept it faithful outside of the stuff they couldn't show legally due to broadcast standards.
And then you get fusion stuff, which they forgot about that.
Apparently, according to Melissa Flores, a lot of the changes in fusion were done because of broadcast standards and Nickelodeon's directives.
I'm not surprised, but like it's one thing where it's like, God, I like that.
Saban owning Fox Kids at the time definitely is how we got those dubs to be as good as they were.
Yeah, because that's always frustrating. Where I like the fusion casts, but like man, they cut too much. They cut a lot. They cut and changed a lot of scenes and crosswords to be that. I just think of the Beelzemon segment, the
Oh
scene
god, yeah.
where it's like, man, they really changed that for the worse in terms of making it less impactful.
But yeah, so I'd say it is worth double dipping for the sense that I think the English dub is still fun to watch, but the Japanese dub has Braveheart. So, can you go wrong with Braveheart? I don't think you can go wrong with Braveheart.
I like Braveheart a lot.
You know what? You know, I want to say it's a hot take because I like Braveheart, but I actually really like. I think I prefer the Adventure 2020's intro songs over Braveheart. Braveheart's great.
I will say this: Braveheart is great. The Adventure 2020 songs is great, but nothing has any weight or substance and power to stop The Last Element from Frontier.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. When we get to my Super CSA D scanner should ship tomorrow. When I do that video, you may just see me get like sidetracked, just jam into Last Element.
All right, we need to do this. It'll be probably controversial tier list, but we need to do like Digimon intro song, Evolution song,
tier list. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you right now, the best ones are Last Element, First Riders, Braveheart, Extreme Fight, and Believer.
I was say you don't include Believer now.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the name. I couldn't remember the title Believer, but there's a lot. We could do a whole tier list on that. Happy May the 8th. Let's talk about May the 3rd's, May the 4th Star Wars reveals. God, I don't know, the worst transition I've done in a long time.
Don't forget Revenge of Fifths.
Revenge of the Fifths. Anyways, so there was a Star Wars fan stream on May the 3rd, so that stuff could go for pre-order May the 4th. That was pretty cool. I didn't actually watch the fan stream because I forgot about it. And so if there's anything about these figures that they revealed during that fan stream that weren't in the pictures, tell me or you don't know. Anyways, first things first, we have from the final wave of the windowless packaging for Black Series, we have Padawan Ahsoka Tano. This is her Season 3 onward Clone Wars appearance, which is great, because they totally screwed up her Season 7 figure by making her, like, Rebel-sized. This one looks to be proper scale. I'm on board with this. You guys got thoughts on Ahsoka?
I'll say this. I feel because I definitely think they got better with making the animated figures resemble the live action stuff better now, because I feel like when they first came out, they just kind of gave me that uncanny valley look, where now it's like a nice balance where you can fit them into your live action collection, but they still look like the animated characters.
Yes.
Still,
it's not like, because I think some of the earliest ones, they look like they picked an actor who would be playing that character in live action.
I think Kane, was it Kane? They kind of make him look like Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah. The Rebels ones all look a little bit like their voice actors. It's kind of cool, but also like super uncanny valley. It looks like it looks like the actors cosplaying as the characters, in a way. But yeah, no, they got much better. Like, this looks like animated Ahsoka, but in a realistic texture aesthetic, like not Clone Wars proportions. Oh, here's a cool one. Prequel heads will remember the Magna Guard for General Grievous, and I'm like, yes, give me two.
I always loved the Magna Guard, and it looks like, and what's nice, they actually give him the possibility. It's like nice.
They did. Going back to Ahsoka, because I saw the chat mention butterfly shoulders. I think she has them, because like this shot here, like they look like they're sticking out.
Yeah, she definitely has butterfly shoulder. Is that her first for Black Series or no?
No, Dr. Aphra had butterflies. But she does have single joint elbows, but they're more than 90 range, because you can see that there's still some extra cut. I found that while I did like the double joints, the single joints are not as hurtful to the overall articulation as I thought they would be. Very recently, they've gotten better at this.
I think with Ahsoka, it works because she has very thin arms, so like it doesn't make it works. You can bend them more easily than having more bulkier arms.
Yep.
Like on some characters.
And then there's the Magna Guard here, who like can crouch and stuff, and he's all single joints. But look at that. Like,
I love his cloth cape, like the cloth robe.
Yeah, I love the cloth cape. He's also got electric effects, which weren't in the promotional photos for some reason. I love this. This is freaking cool.
It weirded me out not seeing the pink effects because I'm so used to Lego Star Wars, like minifigure of the Magna Guard, so not seeing those pink ends. It's like what? Wait, what?
You can see it here in the box render. I love this figure. I ordered 2. I don't usually buy more than like I don't usually Army Reveal Black Series, but I was like, I need 2 of these.
Well, they usually they're just aren't there just 2 Magna Guards with Grievous?
Usually there's 2, yeah. I think Obi-Wan fought like 4 of them. He crushed 4 of them with the container.
But like the scene in the opening scene, there were like 2.
There are 2.
Yes.
I love these. Muteki T. These are I think the Ahsoka. I think this closed box wave is 2023. I think some places were listing it November. Black Series dates are weird. Sometimes they just forget like what order things come in. Like Pulse originally said August for the Andor wave, but they came out in May, and then they said May for the Obi-Wan wave, and that's coming out in August. So it gets a little messy. But Black Series works really far out. Like we're seeing figures that aren't going to be out to like the end of the year, early next year. And that is just how it's gone. Like it legitimately does take that long for this line for some reason. It is the slowest Hasbro line I've ever seen.
Did I ever get the Book of Boba Fett figures?
We're just getting Book of Boba Fett figures now. Yes,
they were all delayed from the next year when they got revealed.
Anyways, there's a new Phase 2 Clone Trooper, which is great. If you didn't get a previous release, brand new updated articulation and all that. Single joints, but again, single joints of good posability, and now it has an unmasked head, which is pretty awesome. Andreas, yes, Ahsoka, as much as they try to pretend Ahsoka is a new show, Ahsoka is Rebels Season 5. And my only complaint with it is that I don't know why it's live action and not animated because of how much Rebels it is. But I do appreciate them putting out a trailer in April going, hey, the show's coming in August. If you haven't seen Rebels, you got 4 months. Rebels is great. Rebels is great. I highly recommend it. But yeah,
I imagine they made a live action because they probably have the animated team work on Bad Batch season 3. Is probably the case.
That's the case, and also because all the characters from Ahsoka are going to be in Dave Filoni's new movie.
Well, yeah, because it's the next. It's practically Rebel season 5.
It's Rebel season 5, but it's also lead into the next movie.
Yeah, it's part of the Mando. It's part of the Mandoverse. So it'll be weird just to have one Mandoverse to be animated for some reason.
Josh Frisch says Rebels is the best Star Wars TV show, and I agree. I think out of all of them, like consistency wise, I think Rebels is really strong.
I still need to see the rest because I've seen season 1. I really enjoyed season 1. I need to watch the rest, but like I still need to watch all Clone Wars. Still is the thing.
Yeah,
I actually did watch Tales of the Jedi for Revenge of the Fifth with my friends, and I really loved the Revenge of the Fifth.
Yeah, Tales of the Jedi.
Can we get a figure of that Jedi Inquisitor Ahsoka fought in the last episode?
Yes, I would love. I want more Inquisitor figures because Give
me Clancy Brown's Inquisitor.
Yeah. Rebels is different. So the thing is, like, I think a lot of people were conflicted with Rebels because coming off of Clone Wars, we were kind of getting this. Clone Wars was kind of like this fill the gaps kind of show where it was these episodic story arcs where you'd have these, oh hey, we're gonna go do this with these characters, this with these characters, go to this planet. Rebels is legitimately, it is one group of characters and you follow their whole story. And so that is different than Clone Wars. So people were kind of expecting sort of Clone Wars where you jump around the galaxy a lot and you're filling a gap in time. Whereas Rebels is telling a story of a group of characters. It's the first time Star Wars TV really did that. And I think it came out stronger for it. The reason why I say it's better than Clone Wars is because I think the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars kind of suck. There are some good episodes, but they were trying to find their footing on how to do a Star Wars TV show, and it's really rough. Like, for years, I never saw Clone Wars because the first 2 seasons were so rough. I love Clone Wars stuff, but like until Maul shows up, it really doesn't pick up. Pretty much when they did the animation model change up in season 3, where we got the new Ahsoka look and all that, I think that's where it got really good. And I love Clone Wars. Season 7 is fantastic. But overall, Clone Wars suffers from the early seasons not being as good. Whereas I think Rebels was more consistently made, and the storytelling was more consistent because it was like, this is this one group of characters we're following, as opposed to jumping around every episode.
I was always because I feel like some people say the problem with Rebels is how more, I don't say juvenile, but I definitely felt more young audience for the first season. But I feel like I think people forget that show was meant for new fans. Like that was the
Yeah.
first big Disney series. So the idea
That was the first
was
Disney Star Wars project.
the first idea, like with Rebels, like you start, the first season was a little more aimed for a little more younger audiences, but like the idea is the show grew up on its audience, so the show got more mature.
Yeah, because
as the
season one, it's pretty low stakes, and you get some fun episodes. And it's a good way to introduce the characters, putting them in like normal settings, your day to day stuff, and then by the end, they're taking down big level Empire guys and joining up with the Rebel Alliance, and it's this really cool arc of characters. And it's the character work that sells it. It's not so much necessarily the episode to episode story, but the characters of the story that really make that whole thing come together.
I love Ahsoka brings back Stinky in the
Yeah.
second series.
But speaking of shows, hey, if you don't have a Mandalorian yet, this is the best one. By the way, welcome back, Window Packaging. It's coming back next year. This Mando is scheduled, I think, for next spring of 2024. Again, they just work really far ahead, but also really slow because
Slightly
this is a book.
related. Oh, what you're talking about, window packaging, reminded me.
Mhm.
My local Walgreens actually has figures again. Would you believe that?
Do you find In Space Silver at your Walgreens? Like I see some people finding them now.
Nope. I did see it's blue golly, which one was it? The blue something ranger.
Blue.
Dino Charge?
This is
Yeah, Dino Charge, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Blue Dino Charge. That's
so which
And Marvel
which,
Legends were there too, but
so which
So-
Mandalorian Mando look is this from?
This is the Book of Boba Fett Mandalorian. Not the Mandalorian Season 3 one, because that would be silly
that
to
would
tie
too new.
things in.
Well, I mean, that's too new to probably make a figure.
Yeah,
of.
but this is it's listed as the Book of Boba Fett one. This is Mando, now with the Clothgood's cape, redone body with better articulation, dark sabers included. He's got the jetpack and the blaster and his little knife, which he's never had before.
But he's missing his son.
Yeah, he doesn't come with Grogu. I'm kind of waiting for a Season 3 Mando that's maybe a little bit better, because also they changed the helmet design finally. This is an actual accurate helmet. But yeah, I mean, this looks great. If you haven't gotten a Mando, this is a good one to get. I think I'm going to hold out from rebuying Mando just because they seem to put out one every 3 or 4 months. But he looks really good. I haven't bought one since the full armored Mandalorian from Season 1. So it's been a bit. But that's the other thing. He can actually store the Darksaber on his belt, which is really cool. Muteki D said no flamethrower. Yeah, that's probably going to be in the next one. That's probably when I'll buy it.
Cal, Soundout, they just announced this for Street Fighter 6. Are you guys curious?
Oh, they announced something?
Oh, you put stream about? Stream about.
Yeah, I put in stream chat.
Oh, there's an open beta?
Oh, okay. About to say.
Oh, good. There's an actual way to play online.
Okay.
Cool. Street Fighter 6 open beta.
May 19th through the 21st.
Yeah. So anyways, speaking of things that aren't brand new, new Chewbacca, that we already got a new Chewbacca. Josh Frisch is asking the important questions. Can we get a Pelimoto Black Series? Yes. I have a Lego figure of Amy Sedaris in Star Wars. I want a Black Series figure of Amy Sedaris in Star Wars.
Did Chewbacca look like that in Return of the Jedi?
This is Chewbacca specifically from the scene where he's being a fake prisoner for Leia as Bosch.
Okay, because I was like, look at that. Like, I remember Chewbacca with that like fringe hair in the front.
I technically need this because I have the Diorama Comic-Con box set Jabba from 2014, and I've just been filling it out with figures. And I'm waiting for the new Bib Fortuna because the single pack regular box Bib Fortuna has a blue paint wash to him for some reason, and I'm waiting for the retro card one because they took that away, and I knew they were going to do that because when they put out Bib Fortuna with this weird blue wash, I was like, I'm going to wait. There's going to be a retro card, and there is. This Chewbacca will be available or is already available as a retro card release, but it'll also have a normal box release. Whichever one goes on clearance, because I need to put him with the Bosch Leia I got for my Jabba diorama. But it's weird seeing him hold the bowcaster because he didn't do that in the movie with this look.
But they didn't include it because it'd be weird about you didn't. What
this should have been was a 2-pack with Bosch Leia like years ago. That's what it should have been. it's just weird. And he doesn't have the handcuffs either. It's bizarre. Also, if you didn't get the retro card to Wicket, because you think $25 for a tiny Ewok is not worth it,
I
it's
got
still
the
not
box.
worth it.
I look it up, like the box, and look at that empty space above
Yes,
him.
even with a windowless package, you can see the empty space. Yeah, I need this at some point, but now that there's going to be a second release, I'm like, cool. I don't know. Like, I want Wicket because he's the Ewok to get, but like, I don't want to spend $25 on Wicket. And Muteki T will never get another Jabba Slayer Leia because they hate fun.
We'll never get it.
Kamen Jojo, I have the Jada Toys Street Fighter on pre-order from Big Bad. If I see him in store first, I'll get them, but I might do a video on them when they come out.
Well, you're so good. I need to get
Zero Films. They did make a George Lucas dressed as a stormtrooper, which I have because I was like, it's George Lucas dressed as a stormtrooper. General Grievous fans, if you want a battle damaged one, go to GameStop.
You know what's funny? Because when they say it's from Battlefront 2, which I don't know if it's EA or original, but like,
like the EA Battlefront 2 has a skin for Grievous where he's battle damaged.
Because you know what? You know it's from that. You know what Star Wars game I thought of when I saw him? I thought of the original Episode 3 video game.
Yeah.
You guys ever played that game?
You mean the PS2 one?
Yeah, the PS2 one.
Yeah, I had that game.
I love that game as a kid.
Yeah, that game was actually okay. Yeah, wasn't the worst. Wasn't yeah.
It was still cool though.
Actually, yeah, it was all right. Better than the Phantom Menace one on PS1.
but the Phantom Menace one was great because you kill everybody in that one.
I mean, that PS2 Episode 3 game allows you to kill Obi-Wan as Anakin.
They have an ultimate bad ending.
Yep. That is true.
Okay, so Smith the Crow asks the hard question. Is the previous Black Series Grievous any good? Well, let me put it this way. There's no other Black Series Grievous, besides a repainted in battle damage. I struggle with it because the gumminess of Hasbro plastic sort of make him really hard to stand pose. Maybe this one fixes that. Like, it just needs some stiffer joints.
You mentioned that, and do you remember? I think it was called the Elite series.
Yes,
remember the Elite series, the Disney Store figures that are
the diecast ones. Yeah,
I just remember the Grievous figure that's just cannot stand. Even though they came with stands.
It cannot stand. Spin Dash, I agree. They need to get out of their Mando Obi-Wan stuck rut and do. Yeah, we need a Grievous figure art because I really love Grievous, and I was going to get the model kit, but then the model kit requires a lot of work to make it really good, and then I just ended up getting the Black Series, and I'm fine with it. I got it standing in a pose kind of like this because the arms can counterbalance. I do just wish we could get something better. I do want something better. I think the model kit is better, especially if you can put in some work to paint up like the lightsabers and stuff.
Star Wars
and maybe put like a black wash on it and give him a different cape. But like, Grievous is a hard design to nail, and I really do wish we could get a better one.
Are those Star Wars kits any good? Because I always keep seeing them around.
I've heard they're good. I've heard good things about them, especially their droids. But yeah, you see this picture here where they have Grievous standing with his lightsabers ignite. You can't do that with the actual figure. He won't stand like that. Yeah. Hey, does anybody know the Old Republic?
I know of it. I know that
Darth Malgus.
Malgus. I must say Magus for some reason.
Old Republic.
It was the Star Wars online game for.
Yeah, the one that's called the Old Republic.
Yeah. Okay.
I always hear. As a kid, I grew up seeing that game everywhere. And I always liked the design of Darth Malgus a lot. Because that's during the Old Republic era, and that's an era I know Star Wars fans really love, and I always want to like.
I've never played any of the games, even though I should.
I played the first two.
The KOTOR trilogy.
The next Old Republic ones, yeah.
Love those games.
I don't know why we don't get Old Republic comics or something so I can experience
that game was so good that like back then when I played it and I found the twist, I actually called people on the phone to tell them like,
wow.
Oh my god, this game has the sickest twist.
That's amazing. Because I know about the twist, but like...
yeah, and everybody does now.
Yeah, but that's incredible. So I don't know anything about Darth Malgus. I just think he looks cool, and he's fan channel, so maybe I'll get him. Maybe. GLE said KOTOR is great, but it's a slog to try and play today.
Yeah, no, it is because I tried to go back to it. I was like, woof.
It's a mid 2000s game. You really could tell.
I had a lot more patience back then, but I still.
I would love. I don't know if there's a novel adaptation of Knights of the Republic, but someone point me to a novel adaptation or something.
There were comics.
Yeah, I need to track some of that stuff down and look at it because
there was that remake. Then it just gone. I don't know what happened to it.
You know what?
It was like,
we don't talk about the remake. Let's talk about not Axe Wolves' helmet. I don't care. I'm sorry. Moving on. I don't care about Vintage Collection Grand Inquisitor. I hope he's better than the Black Series. The Black Series one's kind of stupid. It has this dumb cape design. I don't know if it does here too. It has this. It looks like they didn't. Okay, they didn't loop the cape through the shoulder joints. They put it behind, like between the shoulder, I think. No, this is the same design as the Black Series. Just anyone that buys the Vintage Collection Grand Inquisitor, just be careful with the cape, because I pulled mine out of alignment and I've never been able to fix it since.
Grand Inquisitor is one of those characters I kind of wish they went more to animated style, because
you know how people get like angry about the sequels or whatever and like get on weird soapboxes and hills to die on? I will die on the hill that the worst part about the Obi-Wan show was the Grand Inquisitor. I freaking hate this version of the character so much because the actor didn't watch Rebels. Nobody on production said you're playing a character that exists already. You got to know the material. He gives him a different accent, a different personality. The storyline they did with him is stupid. He doesn't look right, and it's not the same character. It's a completely different character. And now because that's the live action version we got, we're never getting a Rebels version in Black Series or Vintage Collection. We're stuck with this stupid idiot.
Yeah, because it's one of these where it's like, the Grand Inquisitor is such it's one of those designs that look perfect in animation with that elongated alien like head. So see him in live action, he kind of looks kind of stupid.
He doesn't even match previous Uda Pounds in live action. They just and here's the thing. No offense to the actor, but you were an idiot for not watching the show that the character was from, because first of all, I don't know if Jason Isaacs was busy, but they should have just gotten Jason Isaacs for this. There was no reason to recast. Second of all,
I mean that's me with Ahsoka's not having Ahsoka's voice actor player in live action.
That's the thing, is that Ashley Eckstein doesn't have the physicality for Ahsoka.
No, I guess that makes sense.
That's the thing. Just like with the Rebels cast, they're all of them are recast because their voice actors don't match age-wise to their characters, right?
Wasn't Zeb voiced by C. Bloom?
Zeb voiced by C. Bloom, but he's CG. That doesn't count.
Well, but still, at least that's someone to get back.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I will blame Disney, Lucasfilm, producers, directors, whoever let him play this character without watching literally 12 episodes of Rebels. That was all he was in. That's not that hard of homework for an actor. He's in the show not that much, but he's completely playing a different character than the character in Rebels. And that is my problem, because the thing is that, sometimes you get an actor that's like, oh, I didn't want to look at previous material, I want to bring my own interpretation to the table. Bitch, this is Star Wars. You don't get to do that. This is the thing that you need to do with Star Wars, is yes, you can have other actors play characters, right? Sung Kang played Fifth Brother in Obi-Wan the same way Fifth Brother was in Rebels. There was zero problem with that. That was the same character. Frickin' Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor watched all of Clone Wars and all of Rebels that had their characters to make sure that they caught up with where their characters were and the experiences those characters had in the time since they played them. Rupert Friend couldn't be bothered just to watch 12 episodes of Rebels, and nobody could be bothered to force him to do it.
Is it weird?
Is it weird that they didn't get Jason Isaacs even though it would have worked? Yeah. Could they have gotten somebody else? Sure. But they didn't do the homework. It's a consistent continuity canon problem.
Is it weird? Because I'm looking at Jason Isaac. Looking at the Grand Inquisitor. Jason Isaac honestly looks like he could play a live action Grand Inquisitor. He has a similar facial structure to Grand Inquisitor.
And maybe he was busy, and maybe it was a scheduling problem. Whatever. That's fine. I just don't like the fact that that's the thing too, is that I don't like the fact that like people's takeaway from Obi-Wan was that like Reva was the problem when she's like one of the better written characters in the show, because the whole show is poorly written, poorly like planned out, and the pacing is
I mean,
ridiculous.
they saw a scene for Rebels with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight. Like it's literally the same.
They sold the entire like climax of Jedi Fallen Order for an episode.
Like that scene.
There are so many problems with the Obi-Wan series. It is not good. It sucked. It feels like they ran out of budget after getting the 2 actors back to actually make a good show. But even if without that, they had the same plot twice in a row. Leia gets kidnapped, gotta find Leia. Leia gets kidnapped, gotta find Leia. That's half the show, is kidnapping and finding Leia. And that's the problem I have, is that there was a lot of cool ideas going on, but not enough time to explore it, and it got too repetitive. And the thing is that the discussion got all like screwy when I'm like, the worst character in that show was the Grand Inquisitor, because he wasn't the character from Rebels. Even though this is supposed to be right before Rebels, right before we see him in that show, it's not like he had a personality change. And I thought when they killed him off that it was going to come back as a different person, and he was going to match up to what we saw in Rebels. Also, doing a fake out death on a character we know is still alive later is stupid. Like, this is the thing, is that like when people talk about problems with Disney Star Wars, they never talk about the blatant, stupid things like, why would you do oh no, she killed the Grand Inquisitor when everybody knows he's fine? Because he's in Rebels. It's like if they killed off Obi-Wan in episode 3 of the show, and we're like, oh no, Obi-Wan's dead. Like, we know he's fine later. Like, you can't hinge your drama on if the characters are going to live or die when you know those characters show up in other things. The only characters that weren't tethered to something was Reva. Reva was the only character not tethered to Star Wars media that already existed, and that's why she got more of an arc going on.
Me with Obi-Wan, where they literally just...
I'm on a rant mode, and I didn't mean to be.
it literally bothered me in Obi-Wan, was I think the Obi-Wan from there, where they just literally copied the Ahsoka and Anakin fight from Rebel Season 2. It was like practically 1-for-1, right? Like they even copied the shot of Anakin's broken helmet.
Yeah, they copied shots from Jedi Fallen Order for the whole Inquisitor base sequence. Like, I love how this is the worst part too, is that with Obi-Wan, it showed how bad the Inquisitors were. 2 different Jedi broke into the Inquisitorius by swimming through the water, and they didn't do anything the second time to stop that? Like, the 2 different Jedi swim through the water, go through a tunnel, and break in through the place, and crack the glass, and bring down water to rush things out. Like, that happened twice, and whichever one came first, I don't care. It doesn't, like, the thing is, that happened twice in the same building. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. Like, Obi-Wan, I think, is fine in a bubble of only itself. But as soon as you equate it to the rest of Star Wars, it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It breaks the logic of the Empire and the Inquisitors. It breaks the logic of the character flows. And it just does dumb things like killing the Grand Inquisitor and then making us wait 4 weeks to find out, oh, he was alive and it was all a fake out. And we're like, yeah, we know he has to be alive. It's not a surprise. Rebels happened. That's the problem with Obi-Wan.
I like the stream is becoming a sounds review of Obi-Wan now.
But it became because Grand Inquisitor happened to be in these image sets.
Speaking of Max asked a question. Did they ever follow up to NU Solo? Ever?
They did,
like,
in the comics.
Okay.
And just like in true Marvel Comics fashion, they went from, we're reintroducing Kira to follow up from the end of Solo, to, oh my god, can you stop putting Kira in the comics? I want this character gone. It's this frustrating thing that tie-in media does a lot, where it's like, oh, here's a character people want to see more of, and then they put her into like 40 comics within the span of a year, and I'm like, go away. I don't want you anymore. You're annoying. You're just there all the time. Why are you behind every single thing that's happening?
Are you sure you're not talking about Draken?
It's not even as bad as Draken's not as bad. You know why? Because okay, so you know, like in the Power Rangers comics, oh yeah, we have no idea what happened to Maul besides what happened in Rebels. Like Maul shows up in Rebels. That's your follow-up from stuff from Solo. There's a huge gap I'm waiting for comics or books to fill.
That's some of
or
the
a
best
video
small
game.
stuff. And that's some of the best small stuff right there.
Mall stuff is great. But it was the thing with I forgot what was what was my
Kraken.
what
Kraken.
Draken. Draken gets overused in the Power Rangers comics, but they give you time between his appearances. They did Shattered Grid, and then we didn't see him for a while. They did the Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers era, then we didn't see him for a while. They take him off the table every once in a while. Kira reappeared in the Star Wars comics 2 years ago and has been in every single comic or referenced in every single comic since. And considering they put out 13 Star Wars comics a month, I am tired of hearing the name Kira in Star Wars. And that is a big problem, because the thing is that now I went from I want to see what happened to Kira after this to I don't ever want to see her again. I don't care how the story resolves, because she's been the focus of 3 Star Wars crossover events that have taken place within 2 years.
Really?
Yes.
What was okay? Remind me again. What was Kira's role in Solo again?
She was Solo's ex-girlfriend who worked for Crimson Dawn, and at the end of the movie, she took over the Crimson Dawn organization, and then apparently sat on it for about 7 or 8 years, and then reappeared. And this is the crazy part too. There has already been like we're pushing 130 issues of comics taking place between Empire and Jedi, which is just it's a stretch.
That's a lot. That's very stretching that.
It's stretching it, but the thing is Kira reappears as Crimson Dawn, and she's infiltrated the Empire and the Rebel Alliance, and just making everybody's lives terrible because she's here, and things are happening, and she's behind all of this, which is fine. But the problem is you have an event called War of the Bounty Hunters, which turns into Kira is putting up Han Solo's carbonite for auction to get everybody in one place to take control of the galaxy. Which is not War of the Bounty Hunters, that's a Kira Gambit. And then that led straight into Crimson Reign, talking about how Crimson Dawn was in everything. And that led straight into Hidden Empire, where Kira's trying to take down the Empire from the backside of things. It's too much. I'm losing track of the comics because I just cannot keep. They just keep extending. Like it's like they're not allowed to go past Return of the Jedi.
What was it? What was the old Shadow Empire? What was the old like?
Yeah, like the old Thrawn
Was that
stuff.
still canon?
No.
Is that still canon or no?
No, that's canon. Muteki T wants me to do the Kenobi scream, and I think at this point I would worry somebody in my household. There's the clip of Sam Witwer recording that, and it's just fantastic.
Great.
Donnie Pearson, I agree, Solo has like one of the best scores. Like that is one of the best musical scores. And yeah, Small Dream brings a good point. Fortunately, tie-in media have incredibly important info for the main stock as a Star Wars staple. It is. Smith the Crow says, I've heard good things about the Kenobi novel by John Jackson Miller. Yeah, every Star Trek book that John Jackson Miller has written has been one of my favorites, so I imagine his Obi-Wan stuff is pretty good too. At least, okay, so Small Dream mentioned Sifo Dyas. At least they explained some of the Sifo Dyas stuff in Clone Wars. They worked it into Clone Wars at the end. I would do the Kenobi scream, but I think it'd probably kill my voice for the rest of the scream. Which, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, I am, if you want to talk about, like, let's talk about something I love from Star Wars. Darth Maul is, like, my favorite character, like, the favorite Star Wars character for me. It's all because of Clone Wars. I just thought he was cool as a kid in Phantom Menace, but Clone Wars stuff...
They gave him a character.
Yeah, they give him a character. He is, like, legit my favorite character because he thinks he is the big, bad, evil, bad guy of the galaxy to rule and conquer over everything. And he's not. But he thinks it, and that's the coolest part about him. I think so. That thing I love Darth Maul. I don't remember where we're at with this. I was reading the chat.
Grogu set. The Luke and Grogu set. Oh yeah, we're talking about toys.
Oh yeah. Commodore 64. Do you guys think you could beat Yugi in a duel? Yugi, yes. With Yami, no.
But here's the thing. Which deck is he using?
That's true. Yeah.
If he's using his old deck, nah, I can take him now.
Yep. And everybody's debating Star Wars movies, and I'm not going to join in just so we don't derail this further.
I'll pull Mulligan and bring out the Digimon deck.
God. All right, so there's a vintage collection Luke and Grogu set, just like there's a Black Series one. It's got a Luke from the Book of Boba Fett.
Speaking of actors, I still will never forgive Disney for just deep faking the actor they got
They
from
didn't
Luke
need
and...
to. They cast somebody that looks like Mark Hamill.
Like, literally, he looks like almost like a clone of Mark back then. Like, why did
Yep.
they? Like,
Anyways, before we get into that discourse, I kind of hate that the Grogu like chainmail accessory isn't wearable by him.
I love just a flat T-shirt accessory.
Yeah. I like the frogs though. I think that's one of the most fun accessories is those frogs for sure. Oh yeah, Ewoks fans.
Nope.
If you want your Ewoks toys, they're doing vintage collection ones. Maybe they'll do Black Series. But here are 2 characters from the Ewoks cartoon, and they come with coins. Ooh, do I want to buy this for the coin like I did the Boba Fett from Droids?
Can you put them inside the Power Morpher?
I mean, you might. Unless they're the same size as the Saga collection ones.
Are we ever gonna get figures of those of the Ewok movies?
I really do want figures of the family that gets horribly murdered at the beginning of the second Ewoks movie.
I love that your big takeaway from
my big takeaway from watching the Ewoks movies was the second one starts with the mass murder of a family, and it was the darkest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. The reason why they look nothing like the cartoon Ewoks from the Crow is because they're the movie figures repainted to look like them. They did the same thing for I don't remember if they remolded anybody. They did a R2, C-3PO, and Boba Fett from Droids, and they look like they're just repaints. I think about the Boba Fett for the coin. Anyways, that's a 2-pack. And then here's the pipeline reveals where they're like, you want Bo-Katan, Luke's X-Wing, Darth Vader, Stormtrooper. Those are coming out again. They're doing another Paz Vizsla. Probably will come with a couple extra accessories he didn't have yet. There's Grief Karga's droid. And then there's 2 figures I initially... Okay, so they're like, oh, here's Episode 1 Anakin, Episode 1 Padme. I'm like, all right, I'm getting the Padme because Padme's awesome. And then I was like, oh crap, I have to get the Anakin because I have Qui-Gon and Jar Jar and Obi-Wan from Episode 1, which I don't remember why I bought that. And Padme here, so I guess I gotta get Anakin. And then
but do you have a Turbo Man to go alongside him?
I want a 6-inch scale Turbo Man. Legit. And then for some reason, that really real awesome Asian X-Wing pilot, I can't remember the name of nor the actor or the character, and I apologize. He's getting a helmet, but where's his figure? I want his figure. He's cool.
Did they ever figure out Porkins?
There's a vintage collection one, but not a Black Series. We need more Black Series X-Wing pilots. Small Dream is good point. Yeah, Bo-Katan's probably not going to have the Mythosaur shoulder pad, even though she should.
Did they ever release Biggs and Wedge in the line?
Wedge, yes. Biggs, I don't think so.
Welcome, Wheels, to the call.
Smith the Crow's been in a Star Wars mood due to Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. That's a fun game. But anyways, that's Star Wars.
I love how half the shoes now become the big Star Wars.
I did not expect this to be such a Star Wars discussion. I thought we were just going to kind of fly through the pictures and have a good time. But in the chat, I love that the chat's been so engaged with the Star Wars talk too.
Discord did that thing to Wheels.
Oh boy.
It feels like you're holding in your rage at Obi-Wan for a long time.
I have been. I think I finally can talk about it because every time I tried to say things about the show after the finale, people were too hyped up on the finale, which was the best episode. But yeah, no, the Grand Inquisitor sort of derailed me, but the fact that the chat's been so receptive to this has been fun. I like talking about Star Wars, even though I will complain about Grand Inquisitor. It is fun to talk about Star Wars. Did they release Pilot Red Fox? I don't think so. Oh yeah, Small Dream, that's a good point. It has been a year. I can spoil things now. Muteki T, at least not racist, evil Star Wars talk. Exactly. Yeah, my complaints about Star Wars are
actual criticisms.
Actual criticisms of the writing and characterization, not the race of the characters involved. In fact, I think
they'll find a way to make it racist. They'll find a way.
I was just popping. I was like, you want it to be? I mean, we'll.
No. I mean, I can make this all about how
with this weekend.
I mean, I could complain that, like, Grand Inquisitor is not British and so shouldn't have been played by a British man, but I don't.
That's a trend with Star Wars. All the best actors are the British actors.
It's true. But the thing is, I think
true.
that most of my complaints from Star Wars come from things like that with the Grand Inquisitor, where it's like, it's clearly not the same character because the people behind the scenes didn't do the work to make it the same character. Like Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka is different than Ashley Eckstein's Ahsoka, but they are playing the character in two different time periods. Rupert Friend's Grand Inquisitor and Jason Isaacs' Grand Inquisitor are like this close to each other timeline-wise. They should be pretty much the same.
Same. Yeah.
Just like Soon Kang playing Fifth Brother. He brought like the physical presence and the facial acting that matched the animation of Fifth Brother. Like that's the kind of thing that lined up nicely. He was I think him and Fourth Sister were on point because Fourth Sister had only been in comics before. So it was just one of those things that like those worked out. And again, it's like if your lead actors are willing to watch an entire Clone Wars show and Rebels episodes to match their characters, I think you can do 12 episodes.
Don't forget Hayden Christensen, a lot of time on his hands. Actually, cares about being Vader Anakin again, because he's like, oh wait, I wasn't a crappy actor, and everyone was like, well, slightly at the time.
Part of the problem was Lucas's direction.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is it's a level of care, and I just I think that it's not to say that the Grand Inquisitor guy didn't care, but it just didn't come across his performance that he cared about matching the character he's supposed to be playing. And it's a problem. It's a Star Wars specific problem.
It more felt like the actor was just doing it as an acting gig and not as like knowing the character kind of thing.
And none of the producers were like, you got to watch this. It's the same. It's a big issue at Disney too, in general, because like the writer and director of Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, neither of them watched WandaVision, and for some reason they told us they didn't watch WandaVision, which I mean we could tell from watching it, but like when you're doing this big franchise work and you're using characters that continue from one project to another, do some homework, because otherwise you're just going to create fan backlash for no reason.
If the gimmick of your thing is it's a continuous storyline, it's a shared universe, I feel like you need to make sure that every consistent, and not like feel like there's multiple takes on characters, even though they're still doing the same continuity.
And without like cracking open the Pandora's box of George Lucas's directing skill, I agree with the chat. GLA said the actors in the prequel trilogy were great. It was the directing that was terrible. Yeah, there a lot of that. Small Dream mentions the key to understanding Lucas's direction is he directs everyone like it's a theater play, and only the actors in the theater could flourish. And that's he has a lot of theater actors. And that adds to the thing that people talk about with the original Star Wars is that his wife editing the movies really saved him, because her edits made everything tie together as movies, and you didn't really have that on the prequels. And Smith the Crow mentions George has admitted that he himself that he's not the best at dialogue. Yeah, there is benefits to being a writer and director on projects, but there's also downsides because you don't have other voices in the room to kind of help you suss through things and break through it. And I think that that's something that I want to see. I'm glad that Lucas, because I really love a lot of the ideas that Lucas has in the prequels, and I love a lot of like the director of photography on those movies is amazing, especially Into the Sith.
I mean, you can tell that I think with Clone Wars, I think it's such with Clone Wars that none of the stuff in the prequels are bad. I think it's the way how Lucas presented them was wonky.
And Lucas himself knows
the reason why Clone Wars is the most hated film. Clone Wars itself is one of the most hated films of the original 6 because it does.
I mean, Attack of the Clones
plot. Attack of the Clones, yeah. Attack of the Clones is like one of the worst movies in all of the franchise of the first 6. We're not counting, Disney's. We're counting Lucas only. It was probably the worst film.
Yeah, and it's because
Attack of the Clones.
The crux of Attack of the Clones is the romance plot between Anakin and Padme, and George Lucas isn't good at dialogue or romance scenes, and that's why the movie falls apart. Is because a lot of it is the Anakin Padme romance, and it doesn't work out too well. Yes, Muteki T. Episode 5 and 6 were directed by other people. I think it was Irvin and Kirscher on both. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Gotta find out right now. Star Wars is an American epic space opera multimedia
also
franchise.
Because Lucas was having mad issues with money and budgeting, like he had to keep flying around.
Yeah, because Lucas did Star Wars. Irvin Kershner directed Empire. And then Richard Marquand directed Return of the Jedi. George Lucas was a story credit on all of those, but George Lucas wrote the screenplay and directed the screenplay for Episode 4. But Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan did the screenplay for Empire, and Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas did the screenplay for Jedi. And that's part of the reason why those movies turned out so good, I think, is because you had Lucas providing the ideas and the structure, but he wasn't overly done. He wasn't overly in control of the productions. And then with the prequel trilogy,
the toys, Muteki.
Real quick, we do talk about Attack of the Clones being the weakest movie. George Lucas knew that he couldn't do romance stuff. He brought in Jonathan Hales apparently for the screenplay. That's the only prequel movie that's got a second screenwriter listed. So there you go.
And if I recall, the toys didn't come out till around Empire.
Well, no. The way it goes is that nobody wanted to get the toy rights. Nobody thought Star Wars was going to be a successful thing. Toy rights didn't get picked up. They put out this little, you could order this thing that you get figures the following summer when it did become a hit. And that was like a Christmas thing. It was called the Early Bird Package. It was just an empty box with a stand in it. And it was like, you will get the figures. You mail away for the figures. We'll send them to you in the summer. And so the summer of 78 was when the toys actually came out. And then they bid a bunch of toys between that and then Empire. They started rolling up and doing toys. And we've had toys with Star Wars stuff ever since. And now it's kind of funny because we're back to you get toys the following summer after the thing came out with the way the shows have been going. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you have any other Star Wars things we want to mention before we talk about Marvel Legends that we didn't talk about weeks ago that I wanted to get out of the way? Because it's not necessarily new, it's just pictures. But you guys got anything? Star Wars going once? Star Wars going twice? Switching over to Marvel Legends? Or is my whole life... I'm connected, right?
Yeah, you're on.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure. I was like, for a second there, I was getting red frames, and I was like, uh-oh. Okay, so let's talk about the Marvel Legends. Muteki T actually asked a question. How is Young Jedi Adventures? It's fine. If you're looking for a show that has little to no drama, it's Young Jedi Adventures. Like, I think the most drama I've seen so far in that show was they had to stop a guy from cutting down trees. It's adorable, it's fun, and if you want something light, because, I don't know, I get tired of drama sometimes. And there goes the connection again. I started talking about a Disney Junior show, and YouTube's like, no. Anyways, no.
Guys, well, you guys talk about how to go for a bit.
It's okay.
Discord just sucking.
Muteki T was asking about Young Jedi Adventures. That's a fun show if you want a show with zero drama. It is not. It doesn't play too far down. Like, it doesn't punch too far down with its storytelling and dialogue and stuff. Like, it's a preschool show, but it's not a preschool. It's like not super preschooly.
Is it viewers to say audience of Spidey and His Amazing Friends?
Yeah, same audience. The most amount of drama is there's a guy cutting down trees and they have to stop him. It's fun though, and it also takes place during the High Republic, which is really neat because that's our first thing in that. So.
See, is that during like an old era?
It's during the High Republic, so none of these kids got killed by Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith, which is good.
That's not the series finale.
No. They probably got killed by Anakin as old ass people.
No, because this is 300 years before Phantom Menace.
So they'll probably die before.
Listen, we don't know how those alien races work. They could live to 800.
One kid's human, one kid's something, and then the other's a teddy bear. So maybe the teddy bear did survive long enough. I don't know.
Exactly.
He's Wicked's like great ancestor.
Yeah. Oh no, Muteki T. They didn't use the lightsabers to kill the tree copping guy. They just said you have to stop, and he's like, "Why would I?" And they're like, "We're gonna make you stop."
That'd be great. It did.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious if they just start chopping. Chris, I don't know if Hasbro will ever reissue that, but They've been doing more reissues lately, so maybe they will.
Alright, so should we get to the Marvel Legends news?
There's not really news so much as there's clear pictures, and we didn't talk about the best Marvel Legends anniversary line that they've ever done. I'm declaring it now.
With the Avengers or
yeah, the Avengers one. So they're doing like this Avengers thing. Like every year we get like a line of slightly overpriced figures. They're less overpriced
Always
now because the
overpriced.
price is higher. But the Avengers 60th line is actually pretty cool. You know, I know this isn't like groundbreaking news or anything, but I thought I just need to talk about these. I've never wanted an Iron Man Mark 1 figure, but I mean, it looks nice. It can do the Iron Man punch
Sure about
pose.
that?
Yeah,
Are you
I've
sure you
never
want
been a
that?
fan of the Mark 1 armor enough to get a toy.
No one's been a fan of the Mark 1 except the movie version.
I mean, the
I
movie
like the
version's
movie-
cool.
The movie one I always love it because it actually looks like he made all scraps.
Tony Stark built this in a cave. Yeah. But anyway, it's cool. And I think, you know, this is a figure I look at this and I'm like, $27.99 as opposed to $24.99. That's fine. It's, you know, it's a unique mold. It's bigger. It's a bit beefier.
Usually they have a
That's
specific
cool.
name
Chungus.
for this line instead of just
Big
generic like anniversary. It actually
Yeah,
has
it's
a brand.
called Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest because I think that's the tagline that Marvel's using as well. Because like
You're gonna watch
Spider-Man's
this
was
stream.
Spider-Man Beyond Amazing.
Sure.
What was that, Jerry?
Oh, check the stream chat. Whoa.
Oh.
Had to do with what you were talking about earlier.
Oh, it's yeah. Hold on. I gotta get this on the stream right now. Chrome. Let's see. Sorry to completely change focus of the. This is just too good here. Here's our meme of the day. So anyway, we started shopping.
Where's the meme?
Okay, that's
It's in the stream chat. Wheels.
Where did Jerry post it?
In the stream chat.
Stream chat, and I just screen share. I need to turn off the screen share back to Chrome now. It was back to Iron Man. Oh no, I made the screen too big. I always love when the stream just goes off rails in like the last half hour. Wheels shows up and all my planning goes out the window. It's always what happens.
No,
it's cool though.
it's more like you just had nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean this Avengers thing was just added for funsies. Anyways, here's a 2-pack, and again, when we're talking about like usually we're talking like overpriced stuff in these anniversary lines. Here's a Banner and Grey Hulk 2-pack that's $60.
Like this one, like
That doesn't even feel overpriced.
This one I definitely might get because I would like to get the Bruce Banner figure, and I kind of want the Grey Hulk figure because I like the Hulk mold.
The Grey Hulk has 2 new heads as well, which is pretty neat. But
God,
yeah, I
can't
mean,
get it like synced on my side.
it's $60. When I was looking at this when they first revealed, I was like, oh, that's probably gonna be like 70 because I was thinking of anniversary pricings. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I something about this line just feel like I don't know if it's because everything jumped to $25, but here's Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Doom from Secret Wars, and once again it's 50, not 55. Because the thing was like with the Spider-Man stuff last year, it went on sale like instantly because like the 2-packs were $55.99, even though they were just 2 normal figures, not even necessarily new molds. But here we got 2 normal figures that are, retools, and it's 50. So
what's the Doctor Doom retool? Oh, the Iron Man mold. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he uses the Iron Man. But yeah, like Monica's using like the base body, but she's got new arms and new boots and new head. Doom is using Iron Man parts for a lot of his stuff, which works. It's a new torso though.
I love the mask accessory it comes with.
Yeah, the maskless head is great. I love the little extra mask you can hold in his hand. But these look great, so I was like already on board with these. And but then the thing is, yeah, the Spider-Man and Spinneret pack, which was 1 brand new mold on Spider-Man, and then Spinneret was a reused mold with a new head. That was $56. This is $50, and even though I think there's more new stuff going on here, so it's nice to see. I think they actually looked at how everything went on instant clearance last year, and said, "Oh, we should price things better." And then there's the Super Scroll set.
This one frustrates me because like Spider-Woman is still the same mold from the Thanos wave.
Yeah,
years
so this is
ago.
where I'm like, okay, this is why I wanted to talk about these, was because I don't get why this one is now $6 more. I get that Super Scroll's bigger and he has that big old cape, and maybe that's it. But this Spider-Woman is the same exact Spider-Woman from 2013. Like she came, 2013, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, 2015.
2015.
The Thanos wave can't.
She came out with comic Thanos for Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
They gave her new hands. The Super Scroll is mostly a reuse. He has one new arm though with the Iron Man gauntlet. And he has new chest, new head, new cape. But the thing is, these molds are older, so they don't feel worth it because they're older.
I think such a Spider-Woman, it just feels such like you didn't give her a new head, like in terms of like the base Spider-Woman.
What I would have liked to have seen here was that like Scroll Queen. Okay, so she's got the storm hands, the lightning fingers. She's got a new head, right? I wish this was a new mold, like a pinless, Invisipin, whatever mold of that classic Spider-Woman, like an updated body of that classic Spider-Woman, and that's also Scroll Queen, because then we could have like knocked out two birds with one stone instead of just doing a straight up reissue with a couple extra parts. That's kind of my problem with it. But I mean, it is a decent enough set, and I do like Scrolls. But yeah, I do wish the Spider-Woman was on the updated female body mold. I don't even necessarily mind the Super Scroll as much. I think his head looks too big when you have the cape off of him, but you should just have the cape on him. It's part of the look. He's doing the Illuminati thing. So then jumping from that, the Super Adaptoid is weird because this is the only way to do a giant size Super Adaptoid. Like, he is huge. What they did,
they're reusing what, the 12-inch cap mold?
Yes,
pretty much.
The old 12-inch Marvel Legends line that died with Toys R Us had a Captain America, and so they did that. They added some Iron Man bits, some Hawkeye bits, some other bits here. Gave him Thor's hammer, and you got a Super Adaptoid that fits with your 6-inch figures, and I don't see a problem with that.
This thing is weird to me because like it's cool, but like I'm more used to the silver Amazo like looking Super Adaptoid, so like seeing this classic green one weirds me out because that's not the Adaptoid I think in my head.
I agree with a lot of people. It needed wings.
Yeah, the Falcon's wings. Yeah,
Falcon's wings. Because this, I mean, the thing is, yeah, it looks kind of lazy, but it kind of looks like the Super Adaptoid design. It's not like that inspired.
I kind of forgot Super Adaptoid was in Marvel Screen X Avengers.
Yes, there's Super Adaptoid. There he is, right there. He was in the Square Enix Avengers. It's cool.
Yeah, that was throwing me off since I'm so used to my introduction to the Super Adaptoid was from the Avengers Assemble. So that's like the vision my head always. Even though every other Super Adaptoid is green, so like it's not wrong. You just
small dream is like, this one's stupid, but I can't help love the cleverness of using a random mold from half a decade ago to represent something completely different. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of like, I dig it. I wouldn't buy this one at the $70 like full price, but I could probably get this one on sale.
Watch. He's probably going to watch.
I'm not going to buy it at full price because I don't need it in the collection, but if it goes on a decent sale, I'll probably grab it because I think this actually looks kind of fun.
I think what's throwing me off with it, the more I look at other images of Super Adaptoid, it looks too humanoid. It doesn't look like a robot at all. Honestly.
Yeah, and that's because they are using that cap mold. It was definitely better than trying to like create a new mold for the Super Adaptoid. That's not a character worth creating a new 12-inch body for. I'll give them credit for cleverness here. They did some clever work here to figure out how to do a Super Adaptoid.
The last 2-pack's the one. The last 2-pack is like a major get.
This was the crazy one. I have this on pre-order right now for $50 because Amazon made a mistake. So here's the thing. Amazon put it up first at $80, and I was like, okay, that sounds like modern Marvel Legends pricing. And then Pulse put it up at $60, and I was like, how? With the Hulk, there's a lot of reuse here. Here we're getting an entirely new Destroyer, and then the Thor has got new heads, new boots, and it's $60.
Is the cape new? Is the cape new or no?
No, this is the Thor.
From the door, the cape from the door. Is that new or
no? That's the 80th. That's the 80th Thor cape. The thing is that I didn't expect this to be $60. I thought $80 was the correct price. Pulse went 60, and then Amazon was like, "Oops, we changed the price," and it was 50, so I ordered it. I was like, "Heck yeah, that's the price of 2 normal figures." I'm glad to see that they realize that upcharging the anniversary line so much is like a bad thing, because this feels like normal Marvel pricing. So say Thor is 25, Destroyer's 35. 35. That's not bad, or even going back to old prices, they would have sold this for 60 back in like the X-Men 80th days, where Thor would be 20 and Destroyer would be 40.
What was it? The Marvel Studios 10th year? Wasn't that the first one, right? The Marvel Legends 10 year.
But going alongside that, I think the Thor looks cool. I don't mind getting this Thor. Obviously my preferred one's more classic-y, but this one's got the beard. I think this is like 90s or 80s. I don't remember.
Late to mid 90s. It's not like
whatever era where it was acceptable to have no sides to your shirt. But I don't like the masked helmet version at all. But that's not a problem, because it's not. If it was the only head, I'd probably be like, But I kind of like, the bearded look is cool.
The Destroyer looks fantastic.
This is
Destroyer's great.
I think this might be late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah,
I think when it got revealed, people kept saying it was the Walt Simonson version.
I remember in the 90s, but he didn't have his beard. I think he got rid of his beard in like the mid to late 90s.
So it's probably late 80s.
Yeah.
But Destroyer looks really good.
I do remember seeing that. I'm glad we're finally getting Destroyer. I've been wondering why we haven't
it took so long.
One.
Yeah,
and I gotta say, I'm glad they waited this long, because with the inset pins, it looks way, way different. Like, if it was done with the pins, like the visible pins, it wouldn't have looked as cool. This looks really cool because of the inset pins.
Well, later enough, I don't think it'll look too bad with pins, because he's already a rivet-looking robot. But I
don't even associate him as like a rivety robot. I think he's supposed to be like this future tech, like Asgardian thing. So I want him to look as sleek as possible.
I'm happy for this, because I missed out getting the 80-year door, and I heavily dislike Ragnarok that became a normal door head.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this is kind of must get to get a door in my collection finally. At least a classic door, because I could have gone the Fortnite. I love it. A lot of people just dub at the Fortnite door now.
Okay, here's the thing. He was in Fortnite for a whole season, which was like 6 months. He was in the comics for 4 issues. In that look.
With that look, yeah.
So he was in Fortnite more than he was in the comics in that look. That's why he's Fortnite.
Yeah, I like that look, but I want a classic look door, and
I think this Thor looks good. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to replace 80th Thor on the main shelf.
I'm just waiting for them to make a new version of the chainmail. The chainmail.
Yeah, we need a new one, because the one they made was so huge and
that was the first of the new era of Legends figures. Yeah, after the return of Marvel Legends.
But I think this pack is great. I don't even think the $60 price is bad. I think you're getting a heck of a good deal here compared to like a lot of other Marvel stuff. Or Black Series. I didn't even talk about prices on Star Wars Black Series.
Star Wars prices is never going to be good with that Disney upcharge.
Yeah, but I got to say, this 2-pack looks great.
Meanwhile, I was still questioning why in the world is Cyborg Spider-Woman $60 and the blob.
I saw Cyborg Spider-Woman in person at Target, and she is in like a box smaller than Groot, and I'm like, what? I don't understand that figure. I will say, without going into a whole thing, there's definitely a Sony Spider-Man tax going on with these figures.
Especially with the Gamerverse Spider-Man being $35.
All right, moving along to the last thing, which is, it hasn't gone up for pre-order yet. It's going up for pre-order tomorrow. That's why I decided let's do this now, because we finally got the last images. My most anticipated release of the whole program, Hawkeye with the Sky Cycle. I am a big Hawkeye fan, and this is the classic Hawkeye that we have deserved. I'm not even going to complain about them reusing the same bow and quiver from years and years ago, because
it's why change it? That's not like a mold that doesn't really need to be changed. Really,
I just got that quiver with Yondu recently, and that bow with Yondu, and the arrow, like that combo I just got with Yondu. It's fine. It's no problem. This is great because we have soft goods for the skirt, which means he can actually sit on the Sky Cycle, but also means
it's soft goods, not rubber.
Yeah, soft goods, actual soft, clothy material. Inset pins in the arms and legs, which is great because he has the exposed arms. His mask is done with the actual like swooshy parts sticking up. For some reason, they got nubbed down on the previous releases.
Yeah,
like
I'll
he
never
was an
forgive...
Optimus Prime reissue that had his smokestacks cut.
Yeah, because the face sculpt on the old classic Hawkeyes were ugly.
Yeah. I hope they redo this with the chainmetal arms so I can get a better one to go on my West Coast shelf than the one we got.
I just because this is a perfect. I'm still waiting to get like what was the era with the. Well, I'm still waiting for them to make a new figure of which Hawkeye era run was it where he has the sunglasses and the purple stripe on the shirt. The
Matt
the one the
Fraction
Hawkeyes. Yeah, the Matt Fraction.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a new Matt Fraction Hawkeye because that's like. I don't say my favorite look of Hawkeye because I love the classic look also, but it's like
I will say
I could choose.
Mild complaint about the them using this quiver mold. See you later, Josh Fresh. Thanks for coming. The quiver is a little techier than he would have had at this point in time, but I let it slide because it's not that big.
It's like one of those, it's like you can
see it. It's from the back. Sound out
exactly.
Pose him with his ass like he's Black Widow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not posing him backwards. The Sky Cycle looks cool. I hope we're gonna get. We don't know what the price is on this. I hope it's like 40.
It has to be 40 or 50. I imagine it's gonna be 40
or 50.
I wouldn't $1,000.
I wouldn't mind 50. I would hope for 40 just because I'm looking at the price of the rest of this anniversary program plan has been wow. These are pretty reasonable. I hope it's just not more than 50 because it's usually it would be more. I'm ordering this day one regardless though because this is the Hawkeye I've been wanting like for years. So
can we get a new Kate Bishop, please?
Oh my god, we desperately need a Kate Bishop that's in a better costume.
Anybody that's in that Toys R Us 3-pack needs a goddamn rare like new figure because those like was it Cat Falk, Vivian, was it Vivian that set or was it Vision?
No, that was Vision.
Vision and again
we need a new Sam Cap because we need him with the wings. Like, anyways, there's two other things for this Avengers program. It's the two exclusives, which are supposed to go up for pre-order this summer or something. There's a new Black Widow on the
which is a new mold, right?
Brand new mold. It's not the Shriek body because this one has extra range in the hips and then also butterfly shoulders. Muteki T, we do need a new Agent Coulson and like everybody from S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's a shame they don't. But anyways,
when I said they make an MCU Coulson, you can just put in your comic card because they just
exactly
draw him. They just draw what's it, Phil Clark?
If Hasbro wanted to make me happy, they could just put out a box set of all the main characters from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series.
I realize that box set would be too big. Sound out. They'd have to do 2 box sets.
It would have to be 2 box sets, but I only trust them to do it all at once. So make it a 10-pack. Let's go. Yeah, no, they'd probably do 2 packs of 5. Honestly, like here's your first half of show cast, and here's your second half of show. Right?
So they would have to find a way to make sure you get the main original guys, which was what Simmons, May, Ward, Olsen, and
Daisy. Yeah.
Then they need to get
Mac, Yo-Yo, Deke, and then Mockingbird.
Too many people. There's too many people. There's too many
Hunter,
people.
and then there's all the other guest star guys. Like you have to get Robbie in there, and
you have to get Enoch.
Yeah, all the guest stars would have to get.
Gotta get Kyle McClanahan, even though he was a bad guy. You just gotta get him in there.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
you gotta get what's his face from Sousa from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who I can make as New Age Columbo.
Exactly. So you have to have 3
Seriously,
box sets.
Why is that man not Columbo yet?
I know.
Why is he not Columbo? He looks like Columbo. I want a Columbo.
So we agree. 3 box sets. One for the starting lineup, the second one for the other series regulars, and then one for the guest stars. Like the recurring guest stars.
Also have to get the Patriot in there. Whatever his name was.
Yeah, he'd be a recurring guest star. Maybe 2 box sets for recurring guest stars.
Batman was great.
Anyways, Black Widow is going to be exclusive to Target, which sucks, but they've been pretty decent with carrying Marvel Legends exclusives, so
at least it's not Walmart. It's not your arch nemesis Walmart.
Yep. Speaking of my arch nemesis Walmart, new Bucky cap. They love getting cap at Walmart, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's a colors as their stores.
Walmart does try to pride itself as the American store since Target's owned by the French, if I recall.
Yeah, but whatever it is, Captain America's Walmart. Not too big of a surprise.
Is he on the Maverick mold?
He's on the Vulcan body. which
Vulcan
is
body, there you
so
go.
essentially the Vulcan body replaced the Bucky Cap body, so now they put Bucky Cap on the Vulcan body.
Karma.
Yeah. It looks great. I want to get it. I've had back to the scrolls. I have had decent luck with the Marvel exclusives on Walmart, pre-ordering them online. I got my Star-Lord. I got my Doctor Strange last year, so hopefully I can just order Bucky Cap because I'll never see it in my stores. And I should be able to get Black Widow. I was able to get everything else. There was a bunch of Target exclusives I wanted this year, like Tracksuit Mafia and Yondu and another Ant-Man, and so I'll probably be able to get Widow. But hopefully I can get Bucky Cap because I would really like Bucky Cap. And then
Wait, what store's classic Ant-Man to?
Target.
Target, okay.
And then so anyways, here is the full
like that
lineup.
Optimus Prime, that shouldn't be exclusive.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about the Optimus Prime controversy.
No, that Optimus Prime controversy is bullshit.
They're like, oh hey, we all thought when the listing came out that Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime
Go get my tweet.
was Target exclusive because he wasn't a new mold, and then boom, he's just a brand new mold.
My tweet sound out.
Oh yeah, Muteki T has a good point. They did actually have like 2 exclusive Black Widows prior to this one at Target.
Wasn't the gray one Target?
The gray one, and was the white one also Target, or was that one Walmart?
I thought that was GameStop.
I don't remember, but yeah,
Target.
Target.
I DM'd it to you.
Yeah, I'll put it up. Oh hey, your DMs actually showed up ever since you changed your screen name.
That's weird. Why do I have a feeling it tried to shadow ban me because word Taja from Tajadol is supposedly a racial slur in India?
Wait, what?
Supposedly Taja is a racial slur somewhere in India.
Interesting.
Like Tajadol, the form from O's is supposedly a racist slur.
Anyways, this was the thing is that the Rise of the Beast Optimus Studio Series is a brand new mold compared to the Bumblebee Optimus. So
is it a brand new mold, or is it like a slight
completely brand new mold? Like
some of the similar engineering, but it's a brand new mold.
Yep.
Mm.
Okay.
Too, because I just got a random restock of the original one for my birthday. I'm like, I'm gonna get this one if I can get it, but I don't like that it's Target.
Hey, you know what? It could be worse. It could be worse. It could be that you order a restock as a pre-order for a figure that you really want because the original release instantly evaporated, it was hard to find, and then they have the restock on order for a whole year, and then they cancel that restock, and you're like, oh, it's probably because they're going to release the second version of this character, and it'd be available at mass retail like the first version was, and they didn't want conflicting mass retail versions. And then that new version gets put up as a Walmart exclusive only, and it went up in price by $3 extra because it's a Walmart exclusive. And you ask yourself, what was the point of canceling the reissue then? And then you take yourself to eBay and go, I guess I'm just going to buy one here.
What was this one?
Oh, that was me subtweeting Star Wars The Black Series. Hunter from the Bad Batch went through that along with Crosshair. There was like 20 figures that were going to get reissued in Black Series. Hasbro canceled them all. It killed 3 online stores. And then the new versions of some of those characters like Hunter and Cross. Like Hunter was like, the Season 2 version of Hunter is a Walmart exclusive that's $27.97. And it wouldn't match my Season 1 versions of the rest of the crew. So I was like, I'd rather just buy an expensive Hunter on eBay. I got the cheapest one that was on eBay. But still, I spent less than the price of 2 new figures to get the Hunter that matches my other figures. So that way I didn't have to buy an entire new set of Season 2 Bad Batch.
Muteki T is right. I don't know why they didn't make a trio 3-pack. I would have loved that.
Oh, yeah, an Endgame 3-pack of Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
That was like really the like, it's funny because Endgame was like the only movie where they actually made them feel like the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
The comics. They're like, they had them face off while the others were all like, they were like, well, I don't know where the others are right now, but we can take Thanos, right? Yeah, the 3 of us, we could do and I'm like, oh boy.
I forgot one of the 2-packs, guys. Yes, we were going through stuff. I forgot the Amazon exclusive.
The Black Knight and
Cersei. Yeah, I was gonna talk about them. Small Dream says the official word in the last Transformers stream is that this Optimus Prime began as a Studio Series 38 retool and eventually became a brand new mold. I wonder if that also is the case with because the animation model keeps getting tweaked every single time we see it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they were using the Bumblebee character model, and then decided, oh no, we've actually changed it too much, and Hasbro's like, okay, we can't do a accurate one and be a retool. We have to do a new mold.
I'm not sure that could.
Like when you see the photos, I just took 4 of the closest photos. You have them up, you'll see how different it really is.
I'm not sure that's the case because I'm not sure how that will work in production timeline because Toy seem to be making far in advance kind of thing.
Well, the thing is that this movie's been in the works for so long that maybe original, like, because it's like the concept art versus final thing. Like, my Marvel Legends Star-Lord for the new Guardians movie, he's got the blasters from the section in the middle of the movie where he only used them briefly, even though it's on his concept art, like he used them in place of his regular blasters. And it's just the Marvel Legends comes with those, which he technically did use in the movie, but only for one sequence when he has his normal blasters otherwise. That kind of thing happens, but maybe with the Transformers, because of how long and how delayed things have been, and how this Optimus isn't out yet, meaning that it got delayed. It probably got delayed because they were at one point in production, they're like, we're not going to be using the Bumblebee model, we're changing the model. So,
all right, I guess before
Cersei and Black Knight, we need to finish up this thing here. Cersei and Black Knight is the Amazon exclusive. It's also $50. And I think Black Knight looks dumb, but this is accurate to how dumb he looked in the 90s. Why would you give Black Knight a 90s jacket? I don't know, but I think it looks dumb. But Cersei looks fantastic, and this is the best look she's ever had, because I think all her other costume designs sucked. And she totally looks like Courtney Cox, and I'm cool with that. Because if they adapted Cersei into live action in the 90s, she probably would have been played by Courtney Cox. And yeah, she looks great. She's using like rogue body parts, I think, mostly. That's
I
fine.
think a lot of this rogue.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this 2-pack, but I don't want the Black Knight, so I'm probably just going to wait till I can get this 2-pack for the price of Cersei.
All right, so final thing, I guess before we end.
Final thing, so in general, my point I was going to make was that out of all the anniversary lines, this is not only the most reasonably priced, but I think it has the coolest, most variety lineup while still fitting the theme of celebrating the Avengers. And to add to that, there is also a Joe Fix-It coming to Walmart that is not officially part of the line, but I'm so glad they're making it because
might as well be.
Yeah, it might as well be. I held out on this because they made the Avengers one look, the Avengers game one, and I was like, I want the comic one with the pinstripes and the proper skin tone, and they actually gave him new heads
giant Tommy gun.
And they gave him the giant Tommy gun. So wish me luck, because I'll be trying to get Bucky Cap and Joe Fix-It here probably about the same time from Walmart's site.
All right. So,
but that's the stream. I don't have anything else on topics. But
thoughts on? I guess do a quick spoiler-free thoughts.
Oh my god! 3. Yeah, I didn't talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I post this related tweet. That's not that does not spoil anything, but it's funny. I want to show it.
Oh god.
Favorite part is how the villain of the movie was supposedly in a random episode of Doctor Who, and Karen didn't remember working with him at all.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, Karen Gillan forgot she was in a Doctor Who episode with the guy that played the High Evolutionary.
Yeah, she was. That was when she was one of the main cast members, and he was like just some random schmo.
He was like a random FBI agent as a guest star, and she's like, "Oh my god, we were in the same thing. I didn't know."
Like how everyone figured out it was him too, and she's just like, "What? What? It must not been."
Well, he had the smirk on his face, like it was the cat eating the canary.
Sal, you see what?
I still love that. She was like, "It wasn't one of my episodes." And like, "Yeah, it was."
Sal, you see what I posted in the stream chat?
I did, and that. Here's the thing. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was great. Personally speaking, I was like really nervous about the movie, and I've used the phrase emotional damage because it took me like 6 hours to recover from the movie to have consistent thoughts about things. It hit me like a freight train. And I really appreciated everything that went into the movie because it felt like the finale of a trilogy that also takes place in a connected cinematic universe that opens and sets up possibilities for this team in the future, but doesn't make something so concrete they have to follow it. and I think that's something that I would like to see more from more MCU movies, because the ending of the movie I thought was beautiful. The whole movie itself is kind of this weird thing where it's at times the funniest movie ever and at times the most soul crushing. I will say that anyone that hasn't seen it, that's wondering if they want to see it, I will warn you, there is a lot of scenes of animal cruelty due to the nature of their showing the backstory for Rocket Raccoon.
Apparently, PETA approves the film. Apparently,
PETA does approve the film, which is weird. But
I mean, the whole point of the movie is animal cruelty is bad, so
yes.
I guess.
But adding to that, it's more so I think that the way there's animal cruelty portrayed in the film, but it's not done in an exploitive or gratuitous way. It is done in a way that
It's not JoJo.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not done. Every time something horrible happens to an animal, it is framed as being horrible, and but is not framed as being gratuitous, or it's like, oh look, it's cool. No, it's like the point of the movie is that cruelty towards other living things, regardless if they're animals or people, is really horrible. And there's like a lot of like really layered stuff in what Guardians of the Galaxy movie isn't usually as layered as this, but I'd say in the ways that there's so much layers to Guardians 2 about the relationships between fathers and sons. There's a lot of layers in Guardians 3 about the relationship to people to animals and how that comes through. And I in particular, I gotta say that one of the most amazing things about the movie is that while the MCU has been seeing like a downslide in quality, especially if it's VFX work, the people that worked on animating Rocket and several of the other animals in the movie just did such an incredible job, because there is like a CGI raccoon on the screen and it's getting me to like cry my eyes out because of how heartbreaking it is to look into his eyes and see the pain. And that is an incredible accomplishment in filmmaking, and I got to give a lot of credit to that. But it was a really great movie, and if you ever cared about the characters, you're probably going to feel a lot of emotions. I even felt like, I always say this thing of like, Star-Lord is my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy character. Comic Star-Lord is obviously my favorite. Video game Star-Lord is a very close second, and then there's Chris Pratt. But Chris Pratt's Star-Lord really does, Chris Pratt really got the character, I think, in this movie.
I think with Chris Pratt's Star,
Yeah.
I think the Avengers movies
did such a poor job with the Guardians, and I realized a lot of my animosity towards these versions of the Guardians came from the Avengers movies and not the actual movies themselves.
Guns.
Yeah, Gunn knows how to balance these characters, where I think the Avengers movies didn't. And it just, I felt like it came to a really satisfying conclusion to everything, and I just thought that the way that like I wasn't expecting it, I was expecting it to be emotional because it was like, oh, it's the last Guardians movie with this cast and everything, but I found it to be emotional for so many other reasons that relate directly to life and the world and everything, and I think that's why it took me so many hours later to totally process it. And it was interesting because in a way, I felt like Black Panther Wakanda Forever also did a really good job of like relating the process of grieving and accepting that people die and everything that comes with like life and all that. And Guardians sort of deals with that too, but in a different way. And Guardians, I think it's more fun watching it than I think Wakanda Forever, because Wakanda Forever is like a political thriller versus Guardians, which is like, big action movie. But it did such a good job with each of the characters in the movie, and I feel sort of grateful that we got to a conclusion of a trilogy, and it felt really satisfying, and it felt like there's a complete story there with these characters, while also not making it to where there couldn't be any more stories with them again. And I think that is a hard balance to strike, and it's something I'm glad to see. So that's my review, based purely on emotions and complimenting really great filmmaking more than anything else, because everything else is spoilers.
James Gunn ruined Superman. Woo!
Even
you
though
know
it's
what?
so
The thing
fresh-
is I don't know if James Gunn is a good fit for Superman still. This movie doesn't magically make me feel better with it, but I do think
this
he
film
can handle. It reminds us that he can do emotional stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. This film
Yeah.
reminds me that Gunn can do very powerful emotional
Yeah,
scenes.
and I was, what was it, like a few days before the movie? I was watching like Yondu's funeral again because I was trying to remember what Sylvester Stallone did in the second movie because I knew he was going to be in this one. And then I was like crying at Yondu's funeral, and I was like watching it out of context, and I was like, what is happening here? But like James Gunn does really good emotional stuff, and I think with Superman, my only concern is the way he handles humor, because his humor style fits the Guardians really well, but does his humor style fit Superman? And
Just remember, Drax is best dad.
Drax is always best dad. Yeah, and Gunn said there's Crypto the Super Dog in the movie, so I'm getting a little more excited. But anyways,
that already concerns me.
No, I mean,
more crypto. We need less crypto.
We need more crypto because not a single Superman movie has ever had crypto in it. Not a single one.
Except the crypto movie. That was about crypto.
That was about Ace the Bat Hound more than it was crypto.
You mean Kevin Hart and Dwayne the Rock Johnson? Dolls,
exactly. That
right?
wasn't. Yeah, exactly. It was Dwayne Johnson.
That wasn't
not
Ace.
Crypto.
That wasn't Ace, and nor was that crypto.
Exactly. But no, I think Guardians 3 was just. I mean, James Gunn left Marvel on a high note. Whether he screws up his whole reputation at DC or not, he left on a good note at Marvel. And I want to see the movie again because I will be less stressed watching it the second time. that's for sure. I will be less stressed watching it the second time. I don't know. I have anything else to talk about, so I think we should wrap this up before I get all like sappy and weird about movies because
very weird.
I love movies. I mean, we're all weird. We're sitting here on a live stream at like the afternoon on a Monday. It's not normal behavior, but normal sucks, so we're not doing normal stuff.
And where can people find us? Follow me at Darkhost43 on YouTube and Twitter. I do art commissions like the ones you see on this very channel. You want any, feel free to DM me on Twitter.
Wheels.
On Twitter, Wheelchair21. Already saw it too in the video. So Wheelchair21.
Yeah. And
check out our awesome website.
Hero-Club.com. But most importantly, tomorrow, because this is within 24 hours now, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern is the Fighter Cows King of Fighters stream at twitch.tv/FighterCows. So go check it out on Twitch. You know what? Let's just pull up Cows' Twitch page right now so everybody knows how to spell Fighter Cows. How about that? I don't even know if he's here right now. We're not worried about that. I'm just going to show his Twitch page. Because I want to show you guys that it's still stuck on Joe Fixit somehow. Okay. Yeah, so go check out Fighter Cows' things on his twitch.tv/FighterCows. He does streams Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes he'll stream in between them.
Thursdays, like Toma thinks.
Yeah, not Thursdays, Tuesdays and Fridays. So check it out. I will be there tomorrow for sure. It should be a good time. And yeah, I think that's about everything. Anybody else got anything to add before we close out our stream?
Really?
Cool. Well, on that low energy note,
Cosmos is a good dog.
Cosmo is a good dog. And on that note, I got nothing else to say besides look at this weird old Thundercats figure and his arm ratchet gimmick that sort of doesn't work and it leaves his arm in weird positions. See y'all next week.